Hello, everyone. What is going on? My name is Timpedia, and welcome back to the TNT Podcast, episode 60. We are here. I know, as always, we say we're not going to skip, and then we skip multiple weeks. I think it's just a fact of life with this podcast at this point. But
yeah, right. It's a struggle and a half, but that one half where it's not, that's when we record the podcast.
Speaking of half a struggle, we are the TiAnLu podcast, TiAnLu podcast once again.
You're only 2/3 of a podcast, and then I joined.
We have Luigi here once again, who hasn't been here in a fair while, but Tyler is preparing for a trip to... I only know this because I saw it on Facebook an hour ago. He's going back to Arizona for vacation, where he went to school.
Arizona.
So, props to him.
He won with the desert once again.
He'll honestly probably listen to this while he's like flying or something, so...
He's going to dry up. No.
I mean, he survived years there. I mean, does...
Yeah, he did go to school there. He can if he could do it for 4 years, he could do it again for a weekend.
I know that his skin reflects the sun, but
oh
please.
My god. But still here is myself and Friedman, your normal co-hosts.
And joined by our lovely guest.
Who's very racist, apparently.
Yeah.
Luigi.
Tyler rubbed off on you too much.
Maybe I wouldn't call him lovely after those comments, but...
I don't think I'm that bad.
Someone on the podcast has to be racist every week. I guess this week it's Luigi.
Yeah, Tyler dropped out, so it's got to be his replacement this time.
Oh man.
We got a stack of news. We got some updates on what we've been up to since it's been a while. And we got a fairly short and ridiculous topic to go over. So
it's gonna be great. We'll leave it a surprise until we're ready to reveal it.
But without Tyler here, we can kind of talk about Magic news a little bit.
That's right. It's the topic in the whole podcast. We're going to talk about MTG. Except not really, because nothing happened.
Well, since last time we got the full spoiler, or had we done it just as we got the full spoiler
so
for Ultimate?
We had gotten the full spoiler, because I remember during the last snowstorm, I was shoveling and listening to our podcast, and I got to rehear my rant about why I'm mad they're not doing master sets again, which I realized... Listening back on it, I was way too salty about the fact that they're not doing more masters, that I didn't give this current master set its own fair judgment. In retrospect, this is a pretty decent master set, and I like what they're doing. I'm just butthurt there's not going to be any more after this.
That's fair, but I mean, this master set is really good.
Yeah, after reviewing it, I think this one's pretty good.
But we do have a minor... This isn't even really news at this point.
I'm just salty.
There is no this past Monday, or yesterday, jeez, feels like forever already. We had a new banned and restricted update, and no changes in all formats once again. I'm pretty sure the things on people's radar right now is Stoneforge Mystic getting unbanned in Modern. There's been some attention for that because people feel like it really doesn't. It wouldn't do anything to the format, and they're probably right.
It's not too fast compared to the current format. Is basically what the thing is. A 4/4 lifelink around turn 3 is it's not gonna destroy the format.
That also doesn't have haste.
Gonna warp it.
Yeah.
It doesn't. It doesn't attack till turn 4. So
no, that's what I'm saying. It's on turn 3, but it doesn't attack. So
yeah, I mean, if that was really a big problem, then Gurmag Angler would have saw the banhammer a while ago, because you can get the thing out just as fast.
But I think the only other thing, Legacy is in a good place right now, from what I know. Standard is in an amazing place right now, ever since Guilds of Ravnica came out.
It's funny, we were both caught off guard by this ban restricted announcement, and the whole reason this one exists is because of the whole fiasco last year with the constant bannings on Standard. They're like, we need to create more opportunities for us to deal with problematic cards. So this is a case where Standard is okay right now, and they don't need to use this emergency valve. So we're sitting here going, upset that nothing's changing, but in reality, this is a good indicator. It means that Wizards is good at balancing, current Standard. I'm not going to talk about Modern Legacy because those are longer standing analysis, but they're good with Standard. I can totally see them removing these at some point, but I think it's fine that we have a bunch of announcements where nothing happens.
I think it actually,
the game is good.
To what you were saying, I think it actually plays in Wizards' favor to have a lot of banned and restricted announcements where they say nothing is changing, because it makes the community feel like they could react if something happens. Sure, every time someone's going to be like, oh my god, you didn't ban or unban whatever I wanted, and I'm going to get angry. But those people get angry at everything anyway.
Pretty much. The same 15 people.
Yeah, so it really projects an image of actually everything is in a pretty decent place. it would take something really egregious that they missed. And I think while Stoneforge could probably safely be unbanned, it's also a scary thing to unban a card. Look what happened with Golgari Grave Troll. That got unbanned and broke Modern again and had to get rebanned. And then Jace has kind of just helped Blue-White Control Miracles become a thing. But Teferi was also on his way to helping that. I don't even know if it needs Jace. But yeah, so I think it's just, no changes. That's fine. It's always spicy to
on
see.
The Western Front.
It's always, from someone who doesn't play any of those formats, it's spicy to see changes just because it's kind of like, it's exciting to see everyone adapt to a change. But honestly, I think the only thing people were outside of, I think Legacy is supposed to be really good right now. And Vintage, I haven't even checked in on recently.
Yeah, I've been watching it.
I haven't watched Rich Shay's stuff. And I know Pauper, people are calling for Gitaxian Probe or Gush because of the printing of foil in
wasn't that
Ultimate
in
Masters.
Yeah, now that's pauper legal.
Which will be pauper legal, and with Gush in the format, people are really, really terrified of the Delver decks taking over even
What do you
harder.
know? Blue is OP in a format. What's going on here?
Not just any format, but a format that goes all the way back. It's always blue.
For real. The eternal cheap format is blue dominated.
Blue wins.
Yeah, Luigi, do you know the counterspell foil?
Yep.
Yeah, that got downshifted to common in the new Master set that's coming out a week from Friday.
Oh, that's...
And
yeah.
so
No,
in
it's
Pauper,
like...
you still have Gush unbanned, which is restricted in Legacy, in Vintage.
Pauper
and,
Blue is already fantastic, so just give us more cards.
Yeah, Delver
Making it harder
is
to play slivers.
really good.
I'm sure slivers.
I'm
slivers
sure
are actually really good in Pauper.
I was gonna say Pauper's really fucking weird. Like Boros Monarch is one of the other good decks I'm like, who the fuck would expect something like that to be good?
Yeah, for real.
But hey, any love for conspiracy is good. I mean, literally, I'll take anything. But there is some very interesting other news that came out yesterday after the ban and restrict announcement. This website, one of the websites that does Magic content, Cool Stuff Inc., they put out an article that was basically an open letter from a ton. If you look through the list, a lot of very prominent artists, including Titus Lunter, who was my favorite artist before I started really loving Magali Villeneuve. But him and a whole bunch of very other prominent artists basically put out an open letter to Wizards of the Coast at Channel Fireball, who runs the Grand Prix events, which will in the future be called Magic Fests. They basically put out an open letter saying all of the artists who have signed this are going to be boycotting Magic Fests in the year 2019 because we used to get lots of big perks and be treated like the important people they really are to the game, invited as guests, had like the hotel paid for, they didn't really have to pay for a table. And now it's basically you get a tiny table and have to pay your own way there. And it's fair. Art is one of the pillars of Magic the Gathering. Like, it's almost as important as the gameplay.
It's the only way I could ever recognize my cards.
Yeah.
I didn't used to think of it this way until Battle for Zendikar happened, and the whole set was just ugly as shit.
Yeah, you saw the CG artwork, and you're like, wait a minute,
maybe
the art's a big deal.
Like this. Yeah, and I saw a little bit in, I think it was MTG Origins, where there was a lot of CG artwork, and the whole thing was just like, this doesn't look that nice. I don't like this. But then you go to something like the last Ravnica set, or you go to
hell, this Ravnica.
Why am I drawing a blank
really
on
good.
it? Your favorite set of all time, Tim?
Kaladesh? Oh,
yeah,
hell yeah,
that
dude.
set was just looked beautiful. Like, I didn't even play Standard
I
for
love
that.
Kaladesh.
And I still love that set because all those cards look amazing.
Yep.
Yeah.
Actually, as a side note, Morrow put out a 2-part article over the last 2 weeks called the Rabia scale. The Rabia scale? I don't know how it's pronounced. It's basically the storm scale for planes. Ravnica, Dominaria, and I forget what the last... Innistrad are all 1. Zendikar is 2. And the only other one I remember is, I think Tarkir and Kaladesh are both 5s, or Tarkir's a 4, but everyone was like, what the fuck? Tarkir should be way higher. And I think also, I want to say Ixalan was also like a 5, because people love the themes, but didn't like the cards, because they were overall pretty weak.
Yeah.
But, Yeah, it's really fun when he puts out articles like that. The storm scale articles are some of his absolutely most interesting, and seeing what he thinks about the planes is really cool. Like,
I like how the unstable plane is a 10.
Is it really? I didn't even see that.
There's 2 10s in here. There's the namesake Rabia, and then there's Bablavia, which is the unstable plane.
That's hilarious. I read through the article. Wow. Okay. But yeah. So the artists put out this letter saying they're not going, and I only know about it because Saffron Olive tweeted a link to the Reddit thread where Channel Fireball's Reddit account posted a response. And they were like, we love artists. We give them all these perks. And then all the comments from people on the article, on the post, were just, why did you post this? You just reiterated the same amenities that the artists are complaining are shit. And it's fair because they put it out like 2 hours later, but why did you... It's like when Wizards... Remember we talked about how the pro player, Jerry Thompson, was protesting and didn't go to Worlds?
Yeah.
And Wizards had one of their broadcasters was on camera almost immediately and addressed it, and they said nothing. It's like, doesn't that just make you look worse to rush out and say something?
But they don't realize it because they think they're right, and they're voicing why they think they're right, even though those reasons are 100% reasons that they're wrong.
I don't know. It's just frustrating.
This is 100% that doesn't everyone have cell phones comment, but from a different company.
Yeah, but that's way worse. That was active antagonism.
Yeah, pretty much.
I think everyone honestly just is more tuned to PR. Like, in the age of the internet, PR bullshit doesn't fly as much. But something like "Don't you have phones" is like active taunting and still way, way worse. This isn't really a news story, but I guess I should just mention that Fallout 76 was already 30+% off. Wasn't it even almost 50% off
it's a
this
trash
weekend?
game that people don't want to review.
People have been garbage fire salesing Fallout 76 this past weekend, which is fucking crazy. But,
I mean, even just watching gameplay, that just seems very boring. There's no effort put into any of the quests.
It's impressive that Bethesda also said, apparently recently, I heard this on one of my other podcasts, that they have reiterated that Elder Scrolls 6 and Starfield are being built on this engine again.
The thing is,
the Morrowind engine.
After they said that, articles came out talking about how outdated the engine is, and Bethesda responded to a lot of them going, "No, it isn't."
Oh my!
And that was it.
No,
that was their whole defense.
They probably were like, "We have upgraded and reiterated many parts of this engine multiple times." I don't know why I'm doing that voice.
Yeah,
it's like, where are they from? Is the Russian?
Yeah, I didn't mean to.
I didn't know that.
No, it's CD Projekt.
I was just going into making fun of your voice. But it's like, come on, guys. Like, the podcast was like, why don't they just use Unreal 4 or some shit? But the thing of it is, modders still love the engine because, kind of like the old KOTOR games, Bethesda games always have an override folder, which you literally just plug files in there and they will overwrite whatever file is in the game directory. It's exactly the same as modding KOTOR. It's actually funny that I got into, when I was younger, modding Oblivion and KOTOR 1 and 2 because they all did mods the same way. You have an override folder. 99% of the time, you just dump the files in there, and the game just overwrites whatever was originally there with that. But whatever, that's not really news. Steam Autumn Sale is also going on. We forgot to add that.
Oh my god, I haven't even opened Steam in a while. I got to see what they're selling.
I was tempted to buy Shadow of the Tomb Raider because it's 50% off, but I have enough games that I should probably Let's Play first. It'll probably be on sale in the winter sale as well.
I made the mistake
like 2 weeks
of buying
away.
Black Desert Online for $5.
That wasn't a mistake. I heard it's
MMO?
a great way to waste $5.
Oh, it's it is like the most beautiful MMO I've ever been in, and just the game is shit. It's just
that was what I heard. I was
game.
almost going to switch it just because everyone was talking about how it was very good action, and then was like, "Oh, Guild Wars 2 is like this." I'm like, "Oh, maybe I'll play it." And then after release, everyone's like, "Yeah, it's not actually that fun."
Oh yeah, there's nothing to do.
Yeah.
Except farm.
Oh man, that sounds like a good game. Let's do it.
That sounds great.
Sounds like a very Korean game.
Yeah, it's because it is.
Yeah.
Anyway, should we talk about another non-Korean game?
Sure.
right, well,
Let's talk about the dank.
All right, we'll move on to Overdank. So the entire world is being ruined by Ash in every single match ever right now. So let's move over to the PTR where no one's playing Ash because there's a lot of other shit going on. So there's a lot of nerfs and some very minor buffs. And I feel like fucking random Overwatch YouTuber just reading off patch notes to users. But let's get down to business real quick. And Tim's gonna be really upset when I talk about this. But
Yeah.
Brigida is getting nerfed. This has been
Hooray!
a hotly debated topic, and Tim, I just want to clarify: they're not changing the way Brigida works. Her
Of course they're not.
cooldowns
That's
are
not a
still the
nerf,
same.
yeah.
Her abilities are still the same. They're reducing the shield bash damage from 50 to 5 damage. Now, that said, I think they're going to bring it up a bit. The idea behind it is that as a support, you should not be able to 1v1 a DPS and win. That
But
is the golden rule of the game, and that's why Brigida is kind of ruining the concept of flankers, and it means that everyone is going into anyone who's really familiar with competitive Overwatch will understand this. Goats, which can either be translated as greatest of all time or go all tanks and supports. And right now, Goats is dominating the game, and mostly it's because you can't throw in a flanker to deal with anyone because Brigida shuts them down.
Good. I love
present,
going and punching a McCree in the face and just smashing him with the mace. Feels great.
At present, part of what makes it so good, especially with Brigida, is that she can shut down the Reinhardt shield. So that has, I think it's already in live that she can't do that anymore, which is a-okay because Reinhardt was basically pointless with her like that. That said, Brigida did get a very minor buff to her healing. Her aura will now last for 6 seconds, not 5. This is like the most minor buff you could give. So you manage to get like one smack, and you end up getting like another, I think it's like 40 healing per second on anyone who's near you. So it's decent enough, but everyone's talking about how they might make more changes to make Brigida feel more like a backline support instead of a frontline DPS. So we'll see what they do to her. In the meantime, my favorite part of this news is that Doomfist is getting fucking nerfed because he's way too OP. A lot of his techniques that are meant to kill enemies are being used more as escape techniques. So he gets in, he gets one kill, and he disappears. And as long as he can kill the high impact player, so if you have one healer and he kills your healer every 10 seconds, you just got deleted from the game by a Doomfist who can get in, kill you, get out. It's a really annoying play style. People don't particularly like it, and it's really everywhere right now. So they're changing up his abilities that he doesn't, like once he knocks you around, you don't have zero control of your character. You actually fight back against him. They're making it so you need to decide more of your attacks need to be dedicated to getting out. You can't just save one for escaping. So this should mean that it's harder to play Doomfist. People are mad because he used to be so shitty, and then they buffed him a little too much, and now they're like basically ping-ponging him back into the dumpster bin. So we'll see if they buff him again after this nerf, but I honestly hate the concept of Doomfist. The one-shot characters are so annoying.
Yeah.
Moving on, Bastion, the bane of everyone's existence. The dude who was way too OP at the start of the game and now is just so outclassed by everything in the game. He's getting a very minor buff. The longer he sits there as a turret, the better his accuracy gets. So we'll see if this is make or break.
That's nice.
The problem is the game has gotten really fast-paced and movement is super important. Of the six
stationary.
Of the 6 characters added since launch, only one doesn't have a movement ability. That's Anna. But so the question is this going to be enough to make Bastion playable? I personally think that Bastion is a great surprise pick, especially if you're really heated at the last choke point before a hold and someone switches to Bastion, you can easily shut down a team or get your push in. But I don't think Bastion is like a play the whole game kind of character. And we'll see if anything about that changes. A lot of people are proposing the idea that Bastion just needs an entire rework where the whole concept of being a stationary turret needs to go away. The problem is it's such a big part of his identity. I don't know if they could do that.
Yeah.
But we'll see.
I mean, I will say reworks can be really good. Like, obviously, I don't know Overwatch as well as you guys, but in League, there's been, over the years, more and more reworks of old champs, and it tends to be at least interesting and a faithful reinterpretation of their abilities.
So I think with League, it's a little bit easier. The problem, and I don't think they have too many cinematics for League where they reference abilities, but a lot of the lore comes to these videos where they very explicitly reference abilities. In addition,
kind of, but not like Overwatch.
And it's just stuff like your highlight intros, your victory pose. A lot of them do reference abilities. So one of the big things was when Torbjorn got taken out. Everyone was in shock they were taking away his armor packs because it was like an iconic part of him. So much that some of the action figures that are only coming out now of Torb all have armor packs included in them, despite the fact that armor packs aren't a part of the game anymore.
Gotta buy them quick.
But then there's stuff like when Mercy got her ult first modified. So Tim, I think you joined after it had already been removed.
I remember that I remember you and Tyler talking about it. I don't know if I was playing
Yeah,
yet, but
so right now Mercy can revive one player every 36 seconds.
yes,
but
you
her
could max
old ult was revive as many people who were dead who were in your line of sight. So you revive your whole team.
Yeah.
So some of her one of her highlight intros and one of her what are they called? Like achievements was related to getting reses. So they had a problem where like we can't just remove res because then all the shit's not going to make sense. So they had to keep it in some way, shape, or form, and it's kind of limiting them. And this also comes down to some character designs. Like if you look at McCree, one of the big things they'll do to like make a DPS better is usually like edit their ammo. McCree fires a 6-shooter. You can't do anything there with that. Like they've even said before, like bouncing McCree's really hard because there's not a lot of numbers to play with. His left click, you have 6 shots and you can't change that. And his right click, where he unloads all of his ammo, is always going to be 6 shots, so you can't change that. So he's one of the big problem characters, and it's weird. It's like Symmetra, they had to completely change her identity. She used to have
Twice.
She had one ultimate, which was teleporter. Then they gave her a second one because both of them sucked. Then they got rid of the shield generator they added, and they made the teleporter like a quick skill, which blows, and gave her a completely new ultimate. So she's had 3 ultimates over the course of this game.
Nice.
It blows unless you're working that with someone else.
And it only worked because
like
her character's theme is like taking light and making objects out of it. So the more limiting a character you have, like McCree's gimmick is he's a cowboy. Like the more limiting it gets, the harder it is to do a rework in Overwatch. And I'm concerned that this is going to become a much bigger problem in the future.
I mean, but the flip side of that is that's mostly because of like the loot boxes and stuff. Like you said, the only difference between Overwatch and League is you have all these additional things outside of just skins. Like in League, they rework the skins, redo the whole model, and change all the abilities and everything because they can. In this, like you said, there's like heroic poses and all this references and stuff, but it actually makes it so much harder.
I mean, I know Blizzard's really big about polish, making sure their universe makes sense, but if you really want to, if you remove an ability in the highlight intro reference it, leave it for legacy's sake. When people ask, hey, why is this here? They can go Google down the rabbit hole and figure out, oh man, Symmetra used to have a fucking shield generator. That's cool. Yeah, I think it should be fine.
You can even say it's like, this is just something, if you already have it, great, you keep it, and that's just something new players don't get. They do
League
that in all
has
their other
skins
games.
like that. There are League of Legends skins from the beta that are still tied to accounts.
Yep.
And no one gets to play them anymore unless they're like a pro player, but even then they don't usually do it. But still, like, no new players get to see those. That's really cool, and that's okay.
On to the good news real quick so we can get out of Overwatch news. There are very minor buffs. So with Soldier 76, his ultimate auto-aims for you. One of the biggest problems was it also auto-aimed his rocket launcher, the right click. The problem with rocket launchers has a travel time. So it would auto-aim, and then it would usually miss because people move a lot. So the first time I read, they're like, oh, his ult no longer affects his right click. I'm like, wow, this is a fucking nerf. And then I read why they did. I'm like, okay, it's a buff. Now you can, while you're auto-aiming, you can still aim where you want the right click to go. So you can still, like, over aim it because someone's going to walk into it. So this is a very minor buff for him. If you control during your auto aim, you're good. With McCree, they slightly buffed his right click damage, the only number they can fucking modify on his gun. So we'll see. He might be a little bit better close up against flankers. I think this is to make up for the Brigida nerfs. That way he can deal with flankers again. But we'll see. And the last one is Torb. This one's really interesting. So when he first got released, when they first reworked his ult, his new one is he sprays these lava fields, and they do more damage against armor than they do regular health. So the idea is they tear up tanks and then they do normal damage once the armor's gone. The problem is it's not aggressive enough. I was watching Blame the Controller's video on it, and most characters don't have an insane amount of armor anymore. D.Va used to have 500 armor to 100 health. They brought that down. It's really low in terms of armor health now. The point is that extra 60 damage means that it only takes maybe less than a third of a second longer to kill someone who had the equivalent of just regular health because there's not that much armor in the game. So some people are proposing something like double to triple damage against armor, which would really bring that time to kill down. In the meantime, they haven't done them. They did a flat, I think 10 damage per second more, which isn't insane because for the most part, unless you get caught in a trap where he throws it in your team and you're in a grab surge, generally speaking, the second you touch it, you just walk out of it. So you're only really taking 10 more damage. So this really isn't that great. We'll see if they rework it again. I'm 100% convinced they are going to buff the shit out of his armor damage on his ult, but we'll see.
It's also it's an ultimate ability.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, it
should be a bit more powerful.
Yeah, especially because a lot of tanks can just walk out of it. which is the problem. This is supposed to be like an anti-tank, anti-group up ult, and it's not really serving its purpose right now.
Area denial.
Where it's kind of just mostly, oh, I damaged you because you were in a corner, as opposed to like, get the fuck off this point. Whereas most people are just, I can just tank through it right now,
Get the fuck
which is bad. That's it for Overwatch. I do have one more thing to talk about with Blizzard. This is a really interesting controversy.
What is this?
So
It's not Diablo.
No. So this is more business, less about games. So Blizzard is famous for underpaying their developers, mostly because people who work at Blizzard are very passionate about the series they work on. You have the chance to work on these famous IPs you can't do anywhere else.
Yeah.
So Blizzard, for the longest time, they paid you less as a developer, but then they gave you kind of a bonus tied to how successful the company's doing. In the past, it was a lot bigger. Back during like Diablo 2, StarCraft 1, like when the company was booming, like right at the beginning of WoW, that was when you were seeing these giant bonuses. Now the growth is kind of tapering off, and Activision is kind of bringing their corporate policies in. They're like, get rid of this fucking bonus. You're not rewarding people during good years. So Blizzard decides, oh, it's fine. We're gonna take away the bonus, but then we're gonna raise salaries. The problem is the salaries are now still also below what's standard for the market, and now there's no bonuses. And this really blew up because when they had announced it, I think they also put out a letter to like some of the shareholders, and one of the 3 original founders of Blizzard was doing a Twitch stream with his friend at the time, and he's reading through this. He's pretty drunk, and he's ripping apart current managers. Like, what the fuck is wrong with you? This isn't the Blizzard you started. Why are you letting Activision call the shots? And he's ripping, and he's talking about like people he knows from Blizzard who left in the last year and shit they said, and he was just like ripping them a new one. So I think it was either Kotaku or one of those big gaming journalist groups that always seems to rile up controversy. He puts out an article about this, and then Blizzard fires back with this like non explanation of why they're doing this. And now you're starting to see a lot of Blizzard devs are writing letters to these journalists about how like, yeah, this is real shit. Like I'm not happy about this. So Blizzard is internally falling apart. A lot of people aren't happy with the decision that mobile is the new big thing, but everything's also under lock and key because shareholders are mad. So Blizzard's trying to do dumb shit the shareholders like, except now they're pissing off their fans in the company because they're not their number one priority anymore. So we'll see how long Blizzard lasts.
I gotta say, like, I know that there's good that comes from shareholders with lots of money and stuff like that, but God, when you see someone like Elon Musk who has like a private, isn't Tesla still private? No,
he wants it to go back to being private, and that's why he's under the SEC
right
investigation.
But, like, you gotta imagine these private small things just can do whatever they want.
Elon put it best. It's not worth the money.
Yeah. It's not worth the shareholders who literally can't see more than an inch in front of their face and say, oh, we lost money? No.
Bad quarter, shut down the company. But for real, though, it's the if
EA
Blizzard
effect.
keeps this up, Activision is no longer going to let them operate as a separate unit, and Activision is just going to take over the entire operations.
I mean,
so you're going to see
CEO already retired.
Talk about how stupid it was that Blizzard joined up with Activision in the first place, but holy shit, that would be
this is a shit show.
Literally, Blizzard would be going the way of BioWare at that point.
Well, that's the thing. Like, Blizzard joined Activision at its lowest point.
Wait, at Blizzard's or Activision's?
Blizzard's lowest point in terms of sales.
You're a little quiet, Luigi.
Which WoW expansion was it?
Oh, right as Warlords released.
I was gonna say, I thought I remember that. That was a Warlords of Draenor, right?
Yeah.
Wasn't that the one after?
Oh, that was the one that was complete ass.
Yeah, but I'm trying to remember the timeline. That was after Cataclysm?
After Mists of Pandaria.
Oh, which was after...
It was dipping towards Mists of Pandaria, and they joined during that time.
Right.
When they were moving. They knew they weren't going to make a lot of sales.
Okay, Luigi, I want to see if I can actually name them all.
Oh, man.
Just because we're talking about it. So the first one was Burning Crusade, right?
That's the first expansion, yeah.
Okay, then there was Wrath of the Lich King.
Yep.
Then there was Cataclysm?
Yep.
Mists?
Yep.
Warlords?
Yep.
Battle for Azeroth.
No, there was another one.
There was another one between them?
Legion.
That's what it was.
Oh,
and then Battle for Azeroth, which is the newest one.
Yep.
Because you're playing Legion right now, right?
Battle for Azeroth.
Battle did come out? Okay. Isn't it new?
And
Isn't it pretty recent,
boring.
though? Yeah, I was going to say.
I thought you were excited
talking
at
about it
first.
recently.
I was, and then I played it. It's boring, and I'm just waiting for the next patch, but it's not going to release until late December, early January.
So Luigi, since we're talking about kind of the trajectory of Blizzard, as someone who's played WoW forever, what's the high point of WoW for you?
Oh, the high point of WoW? Mists of Pandaria was pretty successful. In terms of their subscriptions, Wrath of Lich King...
I mean for you.
As a long
just
time
for me.
player.
As a player, because you talked about... Because I remember we had you on when we heard about, and we've talked multiple times, about the classic servers, and you've said you're really not interested in that, and that makes a lot of sense. But
in terms of the mechanical difficulty of the game and the level of skill required to do high-end rating content, last expansion, Legion, was probably my favorite.
That was your favorite. That was your favorite time to play.
I
WoW
liked
was
exactly Legion. How my class played. I loved the raids, the color, the just the diversity in the fights, and the skill required for each fight was so much better.
Wow.
Like compared to looking at like vanilla, where it's don't stand in bad shit. Okay, you win. That's kind of like the problem with they're bringing back classic servers this coming summer,
right?
And people are going to blow right through it because gamers are just smarter now. They have the tools to research, and they will clear the first raid the day the expansion not the day the expansion releases, but the day that their entire guild levels to max, they will clear the raid.
Yeah,
without issue. They're going to do that.
Do you think Blizzard would ever do more classic server kind of stuff, or no?
Blizzard didn't want to do the classic servers.
True.
It's the population of, no offense, dumb fuck gamers who have too much nostalgia, who don't remember how shitty the game used to be.
There's a lot of companies who are trying to tap into nostalgia lately. I'm wondering.
Have you not seen how many shitty games there are on Steam that are just, look, I'm pixel art. Wow, doesn't that make us good?
Well, no. That's an aesthetic. I'm talking about legitimately just like, hey, remember that game from 20 years ago? Here's the same fucking game. Buy it again.
Yeah, but Freeman, I'm saying,
you know what I'm hinting at. Anyway, we'll get to that.
But then you get like the Spyro, which was, Tyler and Leslie apparently like the Spyro.
Well, I mean, that's because.
But Spyro is also a unique game that didn't.
The game also kind of did need a remaster. Like, it wasn't holding up too well. Like, the new one looks fucking amazing. I'm happy they did it.
It looks beautiful.
So, I'm not gonna lie, I came really close to buying Tyler the Crash reboot for Christmas, and then I remembered I'd already bought him a present. But
not worth. Crash is crap.
Well, yeah, I've also heard that that's not a great one, but I was scrambling because I don't know what the fuck to get anybody. Christmas is always impossible in our friend group, and we always end up.
Yeah, I got.
Everyone is always like, "What do I get?"
Fucking hate. We'll see.
Oh man, I wonder which one I'm on. Oh no. All right, if it makes you feel better, I bought you guys nothing.
Good. Good. That makes us a lot easier.
I gotta go on Amazon now.
Damn.
All right,
it's okay, Luigi. Your thing shipped yesterday.
Oh no! Now I feel bad. All right, everyone's getting a gift card. It's not even anywhere convenient. Just like Applebee's.
Hey man, we have an Applebee's in town.
Which one don't you have in town? I got a different one for you.
All right, we're moving on. We're lingering. The listeners don't need to hear about our holiday presents. Anyway.
Hey, look, we found out a while ago that Game of Thrones, or like 2 weeks ago, Game of Thrones coming back in April.
Oh man, we get to finally finish.
They took way too long. Like, I'm at the point where, like, every year I was hungering for the next season. Now it's like I legitimately have to rewatch the last season because it's like, well, I haven't thought about the series in so long I don't remember anything, which is terrible.
Yeah.
Like, I've never been like this with the show. Like, it's been too fucking long.
We've all been really spoiled by binging. Like, no joke. So, this isn't really getting into too much of it, but we watched, during dinner today, we watched the new episode of Slime that came out yesterday.
Oh, man.
I'm behind
And, like, already I'm like, holy shit, it's been a whole week since we watched one of these. Oh, my God. Like, one episode? This feels like we're getting nothing every week. Like, all I want to do is stop watching even this one show that comes out every week and just binge other shows instead.
So as a seasonal anime watcher, this doesn't impact me because I'm so used to just the one episode a week.
Yeah, no,
I am now getting used to it.
I mean, after this season, I don't know if I would do this again with Slime, mostly because it just feels slow to watch one at a time. Like
that's why you gotta watch like
different animes.
You gotta have like 3 shows you're watching a week, and then just pick a day where it's like, all right, well, all 3 now have episodes that I'm gonna sit through an hour of this is my, hour block of just watch this shit.
But we only have Slime right now.
And that sounds like a personal
problem.
Yep.
Oh my god.
I got a show almost every day, so.
Anyway, so we're talking about Game of Thrones. The real thing
really
that Tyler
cares.
wanted me to bitch about. So George R.R. Martin announces that to hype up all of the other Game of Thrones series that are going to be aired on HBO, he's writing another book called Fire and Blood, which is the history of the Targaryens in Westeros before the main series. The problem with this is he's writing 2 640-page books, but he's not going to actually finish the last book in the Game of Thrones series. The last time a real book came out was 7 years ago.
Yeah, I'm pretty sure I saw on Reddit that he had an article or interview somewhere where he said he's, quote, struggling with the last book. And I'm like, no fucking shit, dude. You're never going to... Okay, are we allowed to say that he's not going to finish this series?
He's going to die. Like, I hate making a stupid joke. He's going to die before he releases this book.
No, but he could even, like, just... Honestly, I think the smarter thing to do would for him to just be like, look, I know how I want the series to end. I just don't have it in me to write this anymore. I've gone through it. Don't ever announce this until you've already done it. Never. But like,
announce it.
I know. I've never read his. No. I've never read his stuff, but I know like Neil Gaiman is an author that I saw on that Reddit post that people like he could write it. I know there's other people like. Talk to some of the writers from the show maybe who've also written books. Talk to someone who writes similar style stuff and just go to them and be like, look, I'll give you all the credit going forward. Here's how I want the series to end. I just don't have it in me to write this anymore. I'd rather just stop and not be wrung dry for my last few years. Not saying he's dying soon or anything, but he's getting on. It can't be fun to do this.
He's not a healthy person.
24/7 Game of Thrones attention can't be good.
He's going so slow, and he's an old man that he's just it's a logistics team. He's going to die if he doesn't work on this book. No, those aren't related. It's gonna happen.
Is that a threat?
Like I think with how it's expanding, with how more shows are coming out, be like, look, all right, I'm back.
All right, cool.
Welcome back.
So I just saw it happen again where my microphone did just randomly die. I was telling you, Freeman, about how it disconnected yesterday and Audacity stopped for no reason. I just checked the light because you guys said you couldn't hear me. We have now confirmed that my microphone will just randomly disconnect sometimes, which is awesome.
Sucks.
Are you still recording?
I did. I restarted the recording. I'll have to resync it up later, but I'll make it
minor in editing.
Yeah. But anyway, if you notice any more bubbles, viewers. But anyway, I was saying about like everybody's like, oh, we need to have our cinematic universe. Like today on Reddit there was a post about how there is a plan for a Roald Dahl cinematic universe.
Oh, what?
He's the guy who wrote Willy Wonka, BFG, Big Friendly Giant, and all those.
I didn't even know he wrote all those things. All right.
There is literally, apparently, if you go on Reddit, it might even still be near the top. I don't know. It was probably under movies, r/movies. There's plans for a cinematic universe of his stuff, which is the stupidest thing ever. But like everybody wants this, so recognize that Game of Thrones has grown beyond your books. Honestly, people are getting fucking tired of the books because you've left them waiting for so long. Just take the opportunity to step back. It's not your baby anymore. The show is what people really care about. Like, the books aren't nothing, but the show is what got big.
For real.
Like, the books were big, and then the show is Titanic. Like, step back, say, hey, I'm no longer having an active role. I'm still going to consult on the show. I'll consult on any other media. I will not directly write anything anymore. Maybe you do like, oh, I wrote a short story for a comic book, or I wrote the preface or the introduction or a chapter for the new book that Neil Gaiman is writing or someone else. Like, don't be active in it anymore. You just can't. And it seems ridiculous that like I don't get what his reasoning is to not do that. But whatever, it's his call. I'm done.
Yeah.
Speaking of old legends, since the last recording last week, was it last week? I think it was last week.
I think it was last week.
Yeah, it was 2 weeks ago.
Either way, just before the podcast was supposed to be recorded that week, because both weeks we had stuff come up. Sadly, Stan Lee passed away. I know we're very late to the party but this is since the last episode, so we have to talk about it. I mean, what can you say except it's really, really sad. And he's created what is probably the single biggest movie franchise on the entire planet right now. Like, he created all the characters and everything, and it's just... It's always crazy to see someone whose work outlives them, and his is going to outlive him by such a, like, we're talking like Gene Roddenberry levels, where it's someone, like, he created Star Trek.
Yeah.
That's still massive. It's that kind of level where you're someone who created one of the most enduring things ever in entertainment, and it sucks. And it's going to be really sad. Everyone's going to cry when he has his cameo in Marvel and Avengers 4. But if Avengers 4 is his last cameo, that's honestly one of the most fitting things I think
it's probably the coolest movie to have.
Until they CGI him in.
Oh.
No, fuck.
I
would actively dislike that.
So, honestly, I find it hard to believe. I know Disney might pull some bullshit like that. But I honestly find it hard to believe that anyone at Marvel would be okay with that. I legitimately think, like, Kevin Feige, I think is how you pronounce it, like, the guy at the top of it all, I genuinely don't think that team could, in good conscience, do that. And I would pray
I
they
feel
wouldn't.
like the fans wouldn't like it.
No, they wouldn't, but I'm saying, like, but we've been, how many articles do we talk about on here about company did the thing that the fans don't like? All this Blizzard
Game
shit.
of Thrones?
But, like...
Just now?
That too, but, like... I think this isn't a case where we have to worry about that happening.
Real quick, just because we're on the topic of Stan Lee, this is really funny. So the anime meme subreddit was mourning his death, and I couldn't figure out what the connection was until I remembered. Stan Lee wrote the premise of a comic book style story for Studio Bones, famed Hero Academia and Fullmetal Alchemist studio, to animate, and that show was called Hero Man. And in classic style, they decided that they wanted Stan Lee to have a cameo in it. So they quite literally just drew Stan Lee and inserted him as this character who hangs out at the diner the main character works at. So Stan Lee is technically an anime character. So by extension.
I mean, if he wasn't big before.
Yeah, I just wanted to say that even in anime, Stan Lee makes his cameo appearances.
Sadly, speaking of another person who passed away, this one was just today.
Hot off the presses. So unfortunately, I have a dedicated chat for SpongeBob memes with two of my buddies, and they're doing a day of silence because the creator of SpongeBob has passed away this morning. He had announced, it was a few months ago, I think it was right around the time that Stefan Carl Stephenson had passed away, that news is coming out that Steven Hillenburg had very aggressive ALS, and treatment wasn't very effective, and he didn't have very long. So I feel terrible saying this, but it was a matter of time. And I already told my buddies, I'm like, I knew the second I saw his name in a headline, I already knew exactly what was happening. That's really shitty. He made a great show. That show is not so great anymore because it doesn't work on anymore. He was a creative genius at a time when Nickelodeon was stagnating.
I mean, that's like saying Matt Groening wouldn't get credit for how great The Simpsons was back in the day and Futurama and things.
Oh no, he will. I'm not discrediting him for what SpongeBob.
No, I know.
I'm saying
I know you're
he
not,
made something great.
It's the same. It's a similar thing where they stepped away and it got shitty, but that doesn't affect them because they are the reason.
They're known for when it was good.
Yeah, like SpongeBob is 1/3 of Nickelodeon's income.
For real though, it's
and most of it's probably based on the old shit, just like The Simpsons.
Yeah, for real.
But let's get off sad shit to go to get fake sad shit.
Let's talk about some movies with some disappointment in the middle. So it was last week.
Oh yeah, no, this is all disappointment for me.
Yeah, so last week I still wanted to do the podcast. I wanted to bitch about the Pokemon Detective Pikachu trailer that came out.
Oh god, yes, we didn't talk about it.
So since then I've calmed down. I'm no longer as mad as I was.
I feel like we're not going to get to the topic before Luigi has to go raid.
Oh, I'm fine. Again,
that's fine. No. We'll just do the news. There's tons of good news, so we might not even get to the topic.
Good. I'm glad we didn't announce the topic. That way viewers can't know the degeneracy we were trying to unleash on them. Anyway,
see, this is perfect.
So
I want to do the topic.
So the Detective Pikachu trailer drops last Tuesday, the day of the podcast.
Boo.
Boo. And I already knew that Ryan Reynolds was voicing Pikachu, and I was already mad about it. But actually seeing it pissed me off more than I could ever fucking imagine. I have a problem seeing Ryan Reynolds in any movie because the first movie I ever saw him in was it American Lampoon's Van Wilder? And every movie since then, I just see Van Wilder pretending to be other characters. So like Green Lantern, couldn't watch it. Deadpool, it's better, but it's still in the back of my head. I'm just hearing Van Wilder, and now it's like, oh, well, Pikachu's Van Wilder too. As for the trailer itself, it's interesting. This is 100% a movie for kids, but it's also meant to try and get the 90s kids who played Red and Blue to see this.
Hey, it's like, let's go Pikachu.
Also, like the 90s kids who also have children now.
They're trying to position this as a movie that's not just for kids. Like, I remember seeing the Pokemon movies with my dad, and he fucking hated them. The idea behind this is not a movie for Pokemon fans. This is a movie for people that has Pokemon in it. And that's...
I was going to say... The story seems like you could literally just take Pokemon out of this and just make it about anything, and it's just, hey, this script.
Boom, LA Noir.
So the game it's based on
script.
The game it's based on is just essentially a detective light novel, but they're like, oh fuck it, let's brand this with Pikachu and have him be the character. So it's essentially just a branded detective mystery, and that's what this movie is going to be. I don't like that they're going with the realistic style Pokemon. I think they look bad.
I mean, I think you have to if you're going to have real-life actors next to them. That's the thing.
I don't know, man. Roger Rabbit was legit.
Yeah, and Roger Rabbit's fucking creepy. We can admit it now. We've gotten far enough away from it.
Some of the designs are cool. So, like, honestly, the creepiest Pokemon in that trailer was probably Mr. Mime, and I think they did him the best. But, like, you see the skills of what Charizard looks like? He looks fucking disgusting.
It looks like a weird dragon.
I think they made Mr. Mime creepy on purpose.
Well, the thing is, Mr. Mime is generally creepy, and I think the live-action version is going to look accurate to the character. But some of the changes I didn't think were that great. Like, the fluffy Jigglypuff looks weird.
Oh, yeah. It looks like a fucking, let's make a punk rock Jigglypuff, except it looks stupid. Speaking of Mr. Mime, though, doesn't his, like, red spots kind of look like dodgeballs?
Yeah, everyone's talking about that.
It literally looked like the texture of a dodgeball. It was weird.
The problem is, most Pokemon, especially the Gen 1 designs, didn't really have a lot of textures on them. So Mr. Mime, his shoulders are just smooth orbs, and it doesn't really make much sense for that in real life. They have to have a texture. So they went with something that looks familiar. So it's a dodgeball, which is kind of like someone had brought up, like with Jigglypuff. Everyone's bitching about furry Jigglypuff, but everyone's like, "Do you really want Jigglypuff to just be skin, like a hairless cat?" And everyone's like, "Yeah, I don't know if I want that either. That sounds kind of gross,
creepy."
But it's kind of boiling down to the fact that Pokemon aren't supposed to be realistic, and we're trying to make them that way.
Yeah.
I don't think it's gonna be that great. This is definitely going to be like your parents go take your kids to see this movie kind of movie, but the parents find it funny.
I mean, I have no intention of at all seeing this in theaters.
There will be
especially
chuckles.
not.
I might go see it.
Oof, really?
Yeah.
I'm debating on it. I don't really want to pay for it, but I am curious. I want to see this.
I feel like it's gonna be a nice, like, not so much nostalgic, but it's just gonna be an enjoyable, like, fun movie. It's not gonna be fantastic, but you're just going to just sit there and you're just gonna think of Pokemon. I'm like, that's pretty cool the way they made that. Oh, look at that over there.
So, Luigi, the only reason that disappoints me is because I know how rarely you go to the movie theater, and the fact that, like, it's gonna be for Pikachu.
Hey, man.
It's not. I'm not gonna go because I think it's amazing. I'm going to go because I also am trying to go see more movies with my brother. So.
Oh my god, this comes out the week after.
Yeah, but
Avengers
I feel like
4.
you could have. Yeah, go see that instead. Your brother will enjoy that more.
We're gonna buy passes for the year.
All right.
Oh, wow. So you want to justify it?
Oh, I'm just like we're gonna go see a lot of movies together.
When you say passes, do you mean like the movie pass?
Yeah,
thing,
like you pay like $80, you go see all the movies you want for a year, and you get a free drink.
Okay, if you're not paying a ticket to go see Pikachu, then I can kind of understand. I thought you were saying I want to go to just see this movie.
I will only pay money for like movies I know are going to be amazing and Star Wars. I will keep those separate.
Those are different things, you know. Yeah. Fucking hell! But I have to talk about another disappointing movie after Freeman finishes. So
do you want to do all the movies first, and then I'll move this to the bottom?
Oh yeah, sure.
Yeah,
I mean, there's a lot of movie news right now.
Yeah.
So, this isn't news so much as, well, it is kind of because the movie came out. So, Fantastic Beasts and Where to Find Them, Fantastic Beasts and the Crimes of Grindelwald came out. What is it? 2 weeks ago.
Does the movie have anything to do with the
last
beasts
week.
anymore?
So hold on. Let me set the scene. So recently, I made a new friend in the area this girl named Jess, who I found out is a huge Harry Potter fan. And so me, Val, her, and her friend Lexi, the four of us went to see Harry Potter at 9:50 on a Monday, or the new Fantastic Beasts, and the theater was empty. So it was just the four of us. It was awesome for seeing a movie, not to see the movie. And it was really telling when all three of them are the kind of people who like know all the backs. Like they're what to Harry Potter to what I am to old Star Wars. You just know all the characters, you know
the
all
lore,
the
they know the
details.
backstory.
Exactly. They read the original little pamphlet version of Fantastic Beasts that was supposed to be like the insert from the actual book. And all of them were like, there was some cool stuff, but it was okay. And I was like, wow, that was bad. Like, I would say they're all at a C+ because Harry Potter means more to them than it does to me. I read Harry Potter as a kid. I read it multiple times, but I've never been into it ever since it became more of a movie thing. I didn't read the play that got turned into a book by J.K., The Cursed Child, which even Val says is shit.
Yeah, that's really no one did, and everyone who did hated it.
I pirated it. It was awful. It was awful.
Val said it's like bad fanfic. But this is also written by J.K., and they're all at C+, and I'm at a C-, maybe even D+. Like, yeah, the movie's looks good. Wow, Warner Brothers put a lot of money into a Wizarding World movie. This should have been called The Wizarding World Crimes of Grindelwald. You know why it's called Fantastic Beasts?
Because they made the first one.
Because Newt Scamander is the protagonist, and because there's one bit, there's like, you still see some cool beasts in the background, and that's how they justify it. Literally, the most important thing a beast does in this movie is they ride one really cool Chinese dragon beast thing that Newt just catches. They ride it for a chase scene, and then one of his little MacGuffin treasure-stealing guys steals literally the MacGuffin from Grindelwald at the end of the movie. Spoiler alert, because you can see it coming a mile away. Literally, the thing jumps out of his pocket at the place where the climax takes place, and you're like, he's going to go get the only thing in the room that matters right now and give it to Newt.
So, this was something I noticed, and this plays into your whole, like, why is it called Fantastic Beasts? They kind of wrote themselves into a hole with this. So the series itself is the Harry Potter series, but the second you take him out of the equation, you can't call it the Harry Potter series anymore. You can take Luke out of the series, and it's still Star Wars.
Wizarding World would have been a great subtitle. At the start of this movie, they flashed the logo of something called the Wizarding World or whatever it's called. I might have the second word wrong. It's Wizarding, I think, World. And it's like, if that's the name of your expanded universe, then why didn't you just call it that?
No, what they're doing the classic Rambo switcheroo, where the movie is First Blood, Rambo First Blood Part 2, and then Rambo 3. That's how they're going to do it. The next
Freeman,
one,
these are both Fantastic Beasts. That doesn't
I'm aware,
count.
and they're going to transition in the third one to Wizarding World, some other shit related to the second
you know
movie.
what the third one's going to be called? Fantastic Beasts in the Wizarding World, and then in the fourth one, it's going to be Wizarding World because there's 5 of these planned.
Ugh.
Just like
the first one,
just like the Avatar series.
The first one was okay. I'll admit it. I didn't plan on seeing this one until we made the plans for the 4 of us.
I mean,
to go.
I can imagine Val not seeing a Harry Potter.
She wasn't super. I mean, she wanted to probably, but like, I have no. Val actually said she probably. She might yell at me for saying it, but I'm pretty sure I remember her saying she doesn't really want to see another one because this is not like it. It makes me
the series.
So this feels like one of those things where the company
all over again.
Kind of, but like because J.K. Rowling wrote all the books and then wrote this movie, this has her writing credit. All I can think is like, man, it just makes it look like more of a fluke that Harry Potter was as big and as good as it was. Like, it feels like, because remember wasn't there a time after Harry Potter ended where she ghost wrote a book and then everyone found out that it was her and it wasn't very good, and then the Cursed Child came out and it was blech, and then
the Cursed Child, she didn't write it, but
yes, she did.
I thought it was a playwrights from that she met up with who wrote the.
Yeah, but I'm pretty sure
she wrote the plot, but she didn't write the actual stage script.
I thought she had some more direct writing on it. Val could probably answer better. I don't know, but legitimately, this movie has so much. Why is this here? We have all these plots. I genuinely forgot everything from the first movie that had to deal with some of the side characters who are most of them are really blatantly just there for one purpose.
Yeah, Harry Potter and the Cursed Child was written by Jack Thorne based on an original story by J.K. Rowling. So she didn't write it, she just came with the overarching plot.
But still, it honestly, to me, feels like... And then some of the stuff that happens in the later Harry Potter books, a lot of it's good, but I don't know, it just retroactively makes me feel like it was less good than... That it was just the right thing at the right time. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
More than anything. It was the first expanded universe. It was every year. Wow, every few years we get to go to another year at Hogwarts. That's so cool. That's what Marvel is now. It was the first one. But, God, outside of those 7 years at Hogwarts, it's
Hogwarts.
So, something else I want to talk about. I know I'm taking us on a tangent again, and I know we've talked about how magic feels like it's lost in things at sometimes these days. What I mean is, when you start going to the fucking... Whenever you see mundane shit, it almost feels boring. In that it feels like they're just kind of throwing shit in there to make it feel like, ooh, look at what normal wizards and witches do all day. But, for example, in this movie, there's another... you know how in original Harry Potter, there's, the streets, Diagon Alley?
Yeah.
Where it's they have, it's a whole street that's cloaked or hidden or some shit. You go to there's one where you go to a street fair, and it's this whole hidden street, and how they get in, there's a statue that moves and opens up a wing and then closes, and it's you can walk through the statue platform 9 3/4. Can we stop pretending that this is something that you could get away with? Oh yeah, hundreds of people, thousands of people even a day, just vanish into this statue and no one has ever caught them.
I mean, that's the magic of the series.
The talking head from the bus says everything out of the third movie. Muggles don't see anything.
So, this movie literally pushes that farther than I've ever seen it. Did you guys see Fantastic Beasts 1?
Yeah.
No, I didn't, because it was a bad movie.
You're not.
It's okay.
It's okay.
It's okay.
Luigi, do you remember how at the end of the first, how at the end they're we have to mind wipe everybody and it's a lot of hassle and shit that?
Yeah, but no, it's not actually. It's very easy apparently.
Well, so in this movie, no joke. So Grindelwald, Johnny Depp, has this thing that they say he's rallying his followers. Here's the signal. The signal for his followers to meet at this random location is literally giant, mile square sheets of black cloth cover every single building in Paris and slide along them and float up into the sky. And this is never said to be something that only wizards can see. Everyone stops and sees it and then just goes back to normal.
Muggles, man, they don't see nothing.
Literally, the main characters are standing in the street and they see this thing go by, and then cars just start driving by them.
You could easily hand wave it away with magic, and that's why.
But that doesn't make any sense. This is the kind of thing that I say is the same thing Star Wars does. When you take away the mystery, it's not interesting. You can have mystery.
And that's
Stop
the problem with
making
adding more
magic
movies, you're
so
start
omnipotent.
More.
This is I feel like all these things have writers who start out with these small ideas and then they trap themselves and they're like, well, I'll just have them cheat. And then it just ruins it. Grindelwald literally summons giant fire demons at the end of this movie. Literally building-sized fire demons. And then everyone else, one of the other MacGuffin characters is like, hey, we contain it with this other giant fire spell, but we burned down a giant cemetery in Paris. Oh well, no one knows, I guess. It's just
It's because magic. And that's the problem.
It's the laziest excuse. Anyway, I'll stop talking about it. I will say, we can talk about a few other little minor things. This is another childhood actually thing for me. So literally today, on the top of Reddit, Artemis Fowl, the teaser trailer for the Disney movie came out for the book series that I read when I was like 13. Same time I was reading Harry Potter, I read Artemis Fowl, and I liked Artemis Fowl even more because he was a teenage criminal genius who stole basically alien technology, and made them look like idiots. It was the cool. I mean, for a kid, for a nerdy engineering kid, it was the coolest thing ever. And this, I don't even remember when the original book came out. It was like 2004 or something, 2001 even, I thought I saw. And just now Disney is making a movie out of it, and man, I actually tweeted about it today saying, I hope it's good, but please God, don't be Aragon. Do you guys remember
I
Aragon?
know the story of it, yeah.
Yes.
I loved those books too, and man, that movie is
ass.
Horrifically bad. This has some really good CGI, but already, like, even just a few scenes, I was going through the comments on Reddit, and I'm like, yeah, I forgot about that, but yeah, like, one of the coolest things in that first Artemis Fowl thing is his butler, who's this giant, jacked, bald Eurasian guy who is now a black guy with white hair. He literally, at one point, puts on a suit of antique armor, and with that and a lance and his Sig Sauer giant magnum pistol, fights a 700-pound troll and wins. Hand to hand. It's the most badass thing ever. And what do we see in this trailer? We don't see any of that, but we see him firing a magical bow and arrow. Because kids can't see guns.
And
if they pull that, it's like, and apparently, like I didn't notice this, but even one scene at the beginning, like the very beginning of the entire Artemis Fowl series, the kid and his butler go to, what is it, Ho Chi Minh City, which is like a city in I'm guessing Africa or the Middle East, I don't know. And they find this exiled fairy, because the fairies live underground, and he convinces her, in exchange for giving her back her magic, she will give him her copy of their holy book, basically, which explains their language and some of their technology and all this crazy shit. And he gives her back her magic. He gives her like a potion that should detoxify her or something, or like a mixture or something, because it's potions. And she basically falls into a shaking heap as her body detoxes like decades of drinking human alcohol and all this other shit. And he's like, this is going to be gross. We should leave, and I can get started on this book. In the trailer, she instantly morphs into this beautific, floating in a white dress Asian woman with pointy ears. And it's like, if you're changing this already, and then like the main fairy character, Holly, her captain, she has this weird relationship with, and part of it's that he's a guy and she's a girl, and she's like the first girl on the force. She's like, no, it's more that she's the first girl on the force, and he's the gruff old man who doesn't let her get away with anything because he sees her as being up to the challenge. Apparently, people are getting from the trailer that one of the characters they show, who's a woman, is that male captain. It's like, why? Why'd you change it? I can't wait to find out why you pretended you needed to do this. So I'm really, really scared. If the initial reviews are bad, I'm not going to go see it. I'll see it someday, but maybe I won't even. If the reviews are bad, I'll just be like, it's Aragon again. Nope, not subjecting myself.
It's not worth it.
I've kind of just gotten to the point where I accept that nothing is ever going to be as good as the source material.
Some of the Harry Potter movies were really good.
But if you ask anyone who enjoyed the source material, they won't say that. They'll always say the books are better.
Fine.
Book purists suck.
It's not.
They're usually right, though. That's the problem.
Yeah.
All right, speaking of purists, let's talk about a movie source material now.
So I'm not super butthurt about this. The Lion King trailer dropped over the weekend. And the first thing, to my pleasant surprise, that James Earl Jones is still voicing Mufasa. I could not have
really?
asked
That's
for
funny.
anything better. Because as far as I had heard, everyone was replaced. I knew Matthew Broderick wasn't coming back as Simba. Basically, the entire cast is of African descent, and I believe what's his name, Childish Gambino is Simba, which is pretty cool to hear. I think Beyonce is Nala because they're bringing in the musical number from the Broadway show. So she's probably gonna sing that. But I'm also pissed that Scar isn't voiced by was it Jeremy Irons? Point is, the whole cast is different, but Mufasa is the same, so that keeps it consistent. They showed off the trailer. They had the classic opening sequence, the holding Simba over Pride Rock. The CG looks decent enough. All I know is it's not going to be the same. Everyone's talking about this. The script is going to be different. Things are going to be different. Do not expect a shot-for-shot remake in CG. And this is where the community is kind of divided. A lot of people like me absolutely love The Lion King. It's probably my favorite Disney movie ever. I wrote a paper in college on The Lion King, so I was in this course about fairy tales. Point is, it's a great movie. That said, I'm excited for this. I want to see what they would do differently. I'm not picturing this as a remake as much as a reimagining.
Can I just ask why this counts as live action?
Because the term photorealistic doesn't sell tickets. This should be called a photorealistic remake of The Lion King, where they try and imitate real animals instead of animation. But the problem is the average viewer doesn't understand big words and they get scared. So if they use the word live action, it makes a lot of sense. It makes people want to see it because it describes it close enough, even though it's wrong. But it's enough that people will come and see it if you call it live action. Also, because every other Disney movie for the next year is a live action remake of another movie. But that's all I think it might actually be
pretty good.
I'm excited.
It looks nice. The CGI isn't gross to me.
I'm actually for this one. I want it to be different. I want to see a different take on The Lion King.
I prefer something.
Do we really even
darker.
need one?
Do we need one? No,
like,
but Disney needs money, and that's why they're doing it.
It's just I feel like I'm tired. I'm so tired of these Disney live action remakes. Like I started watching. I remember me and my girlfriend and her family, we were at the movie theater in Garden State watching Beauty and the Beast remake, and we were only like 20 minutes in, and then the fire alarm went off and we got kicked out.
Oh well, if the fire alarm ever goes off, it always ruins the movie.
No. But like even before that, I was like, what's her name? I can't remember the girl. Hermione.
Oh,
Emma Watson.
Emma Watson.
Emma Watson. Yeah, like her singing's not great, and like it just there's a lot of blatant CGI in the background. I just don't want to watch this, and I never finished the movie. And I was like, God, Disney, can you just like do something new, please? Just please. And they're doing Artemis Fowl, and that's gonna be fucking. Anyway,
it's new to somebody.
That's not a good excuse. Fuck you.
All right, so if Lion King is a good example of how to do live action, let's move on to a bad way to do live action
it's a good way.
movies. So they announced a Monster Hunter movie.
Good. And
except for the name, it shares nothing in common with the series. It is 100% just using the name for marketing reasons, but the actual movie itself doesn't really have anything to do with the games.
So I will say, based on hearing a fan of the series talk, I since Uwe Boll isn't attached to this, I want to actually wait and see, because they can't be, if it's not Uwe Boll, I find it hard to believe they're so tone deaf that this somehow has no connection at all, because I'm pretty sure they've said that there are going to be the monsters that are famous from Monster Hunter in the movie. So one of the ideas that I heard floated was we have human, like a regular army and weapons and such, and we discover that doesn't work, so they have to switch to swords and stuff and all this other stuff. That could be cool.
If that's the twist they go with, it'd be cool, but based on what they've shown off so far, it doesn't look like that.
You're not wrong.
If that's the twist, that sounds dumb.
No.
I don't know. I don't know Monster Hunter. I wasn't going to see this anyway.
Yeah.
All right, we gotta move because Luigi's a half hour from waiting.
We're fine. We're fine.
Yeah, we're not doing the topic. Anyway, let's move out of movie land.
How much shit there is.
We're out of movie land and we're into Nintendo land. So let's talk.
We're not even at the Weeeb shit yet, and we have tons of news left.
Super Smash Brothers Ultimate comes out in a little less than 2 weeks.
Smashing!
I can't believe it.
I am super excited for this.
No way.
Oh my god, my headphones are doing that weird thing where I can't hear out of one ear.
Oh,
no.
That's why I switched my cord.
Anyway, so
rotate the cord and we're
yeah, this is really annoying. So we're 2 weeks out. I already have a preload. I can't wait to play this game. Right now,
preloaded or pre-ordered?
Preloaded. I got the digital edition, so I always have it on my Switch.
Ready.
No, I just mean I can't believe they're already letting the preloads happen.
The preload's been going on for a month now, ever since the game went
What?
gold and they started printing discs. Yeah, the second it was available.
Wow.
So Nintendo's doing this with all their games, where you can preload up to like a month in advance.
That's crazy.
It's crazy cool, which means the day it launches, it becomes unlocked on your console.
I know that, but I remember like Steam does it like 2 days or a week in advance.
Yeah, it's the second. So this is just for Nintendo-owned games. I don't know about other third-party ones.
Sure.
A lot of them are only like a week out. But with Nintendo, the second they start printing discs, that's when they make it available for preloads. They can kind of get the downloading load out of the way, so that way it's not a big rush close to launch time. But right now, for pre-sales, this is the biggest they've seen for any Smash game in the series. But more importantly, this is the biggest one for any Switch game so far. This isn't. I don't know. I think this counts both digital pre-purchase as well as like pre-orders through stores.
I mean, Smash has always been one of the biggest properties Nintendo ever had. Wasn't like going back to the NES.
The thing is, I'm excited the hype is up. So I know with Smash Wii U, the initial hype was pretty tame just because Brawl was a piece of shit. So now the hype is back. That's what I want to say. Is everyone's really excited about this?
I mean, all you need is the tagline, all the warriors, and then everyone's like, fuck yeah, dude, let's do it.
Everyone is here.
Except for Waluigi.
Get the fuck... He's there. He's an assist trophy. Deal with it.
No, Freeman, the memes will never die. I'm still going to see that thing of Waluigi handing his letter to fucking Princess Daisy at the train station, that comic. Every fucking other day. Someone reposts that on r/gaming. And it always gets right to the top.
So fucking stupid. Anyway.
Speaking of fucking stupid.
Listeners. I failed to keep my ideals.
You sure did.
So going into Thanksgiving break, every time my brother comes home, he always asks what new Switch games I have for him to play. So he's already beaten Zelda. He already beat Mario Odyssey. And he messaged me, like, what do you got for me? I start listing off the JRPGs like Octopus. Do you sound dumb? Did you buy the new Pokemon game? I'm like, no, I'm not going to get it. He's like, well, can you buy it anyway? I want to play it.
Oh my god.
So I buy the fucking Pokemon game.
Oof.
Regret City.
So you're more on the let's go
let's
Pikachu than let's go Eevee from Donkey?
in the notes I put Pokemon Let's Go Shame Freeman for buying this game. So I said this speculatingly, and now I can say it for certain. If you are a fan of Pokemon and you like playing the games, this game isn't for you. If you've never played a Pokemon game, this game's for you.
This game's for you.
If you only like playing Pokemon Go, this game's for you. If you think the easiest RPG currently on a console is too hard, then this game is for you. This game is way too fucking easy to the point where every discussion thread on the Pokemon subreddit is like, here are ways you can make the game legitimately challenging. It's like, you can't use your starter.
Nuzlocke challenge.
You can't use TMs. Like, everything short of a Nuzlocke is like, you get down to like base level difficulty. And like I'll give it this. This game is polished. It's a great looking remake of Red and Blue. I love the idea of Pokemon the overworld. It makes catching a lot of fun. It makes shiny hunting super easy. There's a lot of conveniences like accessing the box everywhere. There's a lot of cool things that I know are going to tie into the next generation of Pokemon if they decide to reuse a lot of this tech.
Hell no.
The engine they're using. The engine is just an upgraded version of the same engine they've been using since X and Y. All the Pokemon animations
will use the other spin-off of it.
Wait, sorry, what?
There's no way that a mainline game is going to get the box floating. There's no way. The Box Anywhere system.
Oh, yeah, no, that was...
Or visible Pokemon, there's no way that's going to be in the next main Pokemon.
Oh, they're definitely getting it.
You really?
I think so. So, as much as I want it to, in a previous interview, they said that anything they did in Pokemon Let's Go does not tie into what they're going to do for the next game. That said, just because the engine itself isn't actually any different from the one they've used for the last 4 game groups. I'm like X, Y, Mega Ruby, Alpha, Sapphire, Ultra Sun, Ultra Moon, and then Sun and Moon. Those 4 groups of games, all 4 have used the same engine, and this is just using an upgraded version of that engine.
Yeah, but if they're doing the whole thing where it's more of a Pokemon let's play Pokemon Go system where you don't fight wild Pokemon. There's no way the mainline series does that. That seems like
no. They're not. They're
change.
not taking gameplay changes. They're going to keep it the same as it was, but the question is whether they're going to do other
quality of life changes. And I'm saying that I doubt that'll happen because all the hardcore fans who might skip this game are going to be like, "Fuck you! This isn't my Pokemon."
Nintendo isn't seeing it that way, not at all. So for the most part, they're not. They've even gone out and said like this isn't for They've said this isn't for hardcore gamers. They've acknowledged that this game isn't for you. They didn't go and outright say it because it would have killed their sales. The thing is, this game is 100% for the 8-year-old kids who haven't played a Pokemon game. The ones who've seen their, older siblings or mom and dad play Pokemon Go because they remember. This is 100% a nostalgia trip for people who haven't played since they've owned a Game Boy Color. And I need to stress this because that demographic fucking loves this game. They can't get enough of this shit. And I think this game
I should probably go buy a Switch and buy this then.
Because of that, I'm not going to say this is a bad game. This game is 100% great for a very specific demographic. The problem is Pokemon fans aren't that demographic, and that's what my beef is. This isn't a game for me.
So
if you played Pokemon Black and White, you're already in too deep. Don't play this game.
So you're actually saying you agree with me that some of the changes are not for you guys. But they're going to carry
it
through.
Into the demographic. I have not played since the first Pokemon game on the Game Boy.
I haven't either, but I have no interest in catching like the Pokemon Go system.
Yeah, so, Nintendo has on record. So this is essentially an onboarding tool to get people to want to play Pokemon who aren't invested in the series.
That's what I was going to say. So that's why you're saying a lot of the quality of life changes, like the Box Anywhere system, might move over because they might kind of bridge the gap a little bit.
Yeah,
if
they balance around with the idea that you can swap out Pokemon whenever you want. So the original reason they didn't do that was they didn't want you giving up whatever Pokemon had your HM for cuts or surf or whatever. But now that those are handled not by Pokemon move slots, it's not really so much of a gameplay issue anymore. The question is how much they want to work around that. So like starting with the DS games, they changed the experience share so that it impacts all of your Pokemon. So to fix that, they kind of leveled up how trainers works. That way, even though you're leveling up your whole team, like trainers leveling up just fast. So it meant that you can level up a shitty Pokemon you add to your team pretty fast without forcing them to do the throw them out into battle and swap them out tactics they had to do in the old days. It was cool, but they also balanced the game around it, and it was great. The problem is with this game, it's so easy to level up shit. Like my brother and one of his friends were playing it, and they were talking about how their Charizard and their Pikachu were like level 50 by the time they got to Brock. And it's stupid, but the problem is the kind of person who hasn't played a Pokemon game, they don't give a shit. They just like that their Charizard is super strong and kills everything in one shot.
Look at my big Charizard.
When we were 8 years old, that was fucking great. But I've played, counting like replays.
Only play with starters.
I played from start to finish like 18 full Pokemon campaigns. That shit doesn't fly anymore. I need like 18 revolving Pokemon who are all equally leveled. I swap in and out depending on which gym leaders come out next. That's how I play the game, and that's not how this game is meant to be played. This rant is going on way too long.
It's for babies.
I will put it this way: this game is not for people who enjoy the. Fuck, I can't word this right.
It's not for old Pokemon fans.
If you've played a Pokemon game that isn't red or blue, this isn't for you. If you've played a Pokemon game in the last 10 years, it's not for you. If you're interested in Pokemon and you're not sure why I'm bitching about this, go buy this game. It's pretty good for you. It's decently well made. If you don't have any kind of like frame of reference to have the criticisms that I have, you will enjoy the shit out of this game.
I have to go buy this game. I gotta go buy it now. He's convinced me.
Really so Luigi's the target demographic.
Someone who doesn't like Pokemon. Perfect.
Yeah.
I like Pokemon. I don't like turn-based games, and that
you're not gonna like Pokemon then.
It's apparently not.
Yeah.
So I like.
Pokemon
Stadium was cool as shit though.
So I gotta say, I definitely have not been playing many of the newer games, but I definitely do. I definitely would prefer to play a different new game to one of these.
If you wanted to give any Pokemon game a shot and you haven't played Red and Blue, X and Y is the definitive way to get into a Pokemon game if you like Gen 1. That was their way of, they like sort of low-key pandered to the Gen 1 fans in that game. They gave you your real starter, and then like not even before the first gym, you get to pick between Charmander, Squirtle, Bulbasaur. Pikachu's on the first route. All your favorites from Gen 1 are hidden somewhere in the game. But X and Y was a standalone game that had probably the biggest variety of Pokemon in a game, and I love it because every time I play through, there's new Pokemon to use on your team.
X and Y are so it's just like only Gen 1 Pokemon?
No, it's not. But there's a lot of popular Gen 1s in that region. So we discussed in the past. So going forward, Nintendo decided that instead of having full games full of full brand new Pokemon that might overlap with existing ones, what they do is they only introduce between 60 and 70 new Pokemon and fill their game with ones from older generations. And it kind of makes it fun. So like I was playing through Ultra Sun, Ultra Moon, and one of my favorite Pokemon from Gold and Silver was the Tyranitar line, which was almost always, you can only get it in the post game. But for the first time ever, they made Larvitar available at the beginning of the game. So you got to go through the campaign eventually with the Tyranitar, which is fucking great. He's great in the end game. But Larvitar scales well through the early game, and it was fun. And it's an experience I don't normally get in Pokemon because you don't have that selection. And I like that they do that. Now, that said, the selection in Red and Blue is kind of garbage. And that reflects in Let's Go.
I'm not going to buy this game.
I could go off for another hour about why I'm upset about this game. But that said, if you're newbie, if you're curious, if you like something that looks cute, has great graphics, it's probably a great introduction to the series. It's good for you. If you've already played Pokemon games, skip it. Go emulate Fire Red Leaf Green.
I will say my friend Jess, who does play Go and just got a Switch for herself for the holidays, did buy Let's Go Eevee. I have not talked to her how she thinks it's it. She hasn't played it yet, but I know she did buy it.
When you can get her opinion, I'm curious. I'm trying to read everyone's opinion on this.
Maybe I'll just buy Val a Switch, but no, I'm just kidding. I'm not gonna do that. Yeah, I don't know. There's not like as much as I love all the games on. There's nothing I'd actually recommend to you, so I can't really say for certain that getting a Switch is a good idea. Yep.
Will not buy.
I know.
But next fall when the new Pokemon game comes out, that's when you want to buy a Nintendo Switch. This game's gonna be great. Fucking love Pokemon. Can't do anything wrong. Let's move on.
Next year, right?
Yeah, the next core game is next fall.
We only have 20 minutes till Luigi has to
it's fine. We don't pull until 10:30.
All right, we'll skip the next topic because it's bullshit, and we'll move right along.
What was the next topic supposed to be?
It was Tyler wanted to bitch about why he doesn't like Black Friday.
Okay,
because it's stupid and sales are bullshit, and you can get things at discount prices.
No, that said, I got some pretty sweet sales on shit I was going to buy anyway.
That to be said, I spent a shit ton of money on Magic cards.
Yeah, Cyber Monday, he's definitively wrong.
The only thing I bought from Cyber Monday are books with Audible credits, and yeah.
I will say I bought no presents using sales. I only bought Magic cards for myself that were on sale. Everything else was just side stuff that wasn't on sale. And I honestly looked at Cyber Monday on Amazon to try to find presents for some people. Nothing good.
So what we're probably going to see going forward is Cyber Monday is not really going to be a thing anymore. Now, a lot of Black Friday shopping is done online.
It's just the Black Friday weekend.
Yeah, so now people are referring to it as Cyber Week now.
Yeah. So, Freeman, you could probably guess this when I randomly texted you yesterday, but literally the only thing that was even seemed of any value on the Cyber Monday sale, I did get you something else as a present, so this didn't happen, obviously, because of your response. But I did text you about that anime Lane.
Yeah.
Yeah, that box set was the only thing that caught my eye at all on the Cyber Monday from movies and TV. There were literally like 20 things, and I'm like, wow, does Freeman have this anime? Oh, he thinks it's shit? Well, time to go hunt for something else, I guess.
Listeners, real quick, just because it ties directly into the weeb shit. But
oh my God.
Anytime Tim asks me about an anime, my first thought is, did Mother's Basement release a video on this, and that's why he's asking me? So I double-checked, like, he didn't do anything on Lane. Like, why is Tim asking all this? I'm like, Lane's... Like, so for anyone who's curious, Lane is a very aesthetic anime. It's interesting. It makes you think, but it reminds me a lot of... It's kind of how I feel about Blade Runner. It's a cool concept, but, like, I got bored watching it. It's a very slow show where you have to think more of what's going on than actually, watch what's going on. I recommend Lane. I'm never going to rewatch it, so it's a good thing you didn't buy it on, like, Blu-ray or anything.
Yeah. No, when you said it, I was like, no, I'll find something better.
Yeah, it's super weird. If you like something psychological, give it a shot. But let's move on to the weeb shit. So the first and foremost show I'm very excited, it's coming up, Promised Neverland. This is a shonen anime. It runs in Shonen Jump. But this isn't so much your battle shonen like Hero Academia is. This is going to be more like Death Note in that there's more of like mystery, psychological thriller, suspense. But it's not aimed at adults. This is still aimed at kids. So I don't know what kind of tone is really going to come of it. That said, one of my favorite shonen opening bands, Uberworld, is going to be doing the opening. And for anyone who keeps up the show, they did the first opening for Hero Academia Season 3, which is known,
yeah, buddy.
which I constantly reference with the keeping their ideals. Uberworld,
which Val still tries to say is the worst opening, but I've unfortunately mostly turned around.
What are we talking about? Opening 4 is the worst. Make
Season
My
3
Story.
Opening 2.
Yeah.
Oh no, Make My Story. No, I like Make My Story too.
That's worse than I Keep My Ideals.
Oh, it's worse, but it's still good.
Yeah, I
mean, it's not a bad opening. I just like it the least of the 4 that are out.
I gotta say, the song in the first one has kind of lost its luster for me a little bit.
Oh, I still listen to it all the time. Both versions, the opening as well.
See, I listen to Make My Story all the time now.
So here's the thing, mini rant. I don't like Lenny Code Project, the band that did Make My Story. I've seen 2 other anime that do the opening for, and they don't sound different enough in any of the songs. Like they did the opening for D. Greyman Hollow, and they did the opening for whatever the fucking rugby show was, and both of them were just like the most generic J-rock songs I could hear.
Look, but honestly, compared, like,
fuck you.
But also,
it was terrible.
we needed something to calm down after Keep My Ideals.
Yes, I understand.
Keep My Ideals was so way out there. They needed like a centering point to like, okay, let's pull it back a little bit, guys. This is just a solid song.
Anyway, yeah, that's what I was going to bring up. I Keep My Ideals was a little unusual, and that's the problem with Uberworld. You flip a coin, and either you get
yes.
like very standard action anime openings, or you get some shit that's so far out of left field. I'm like, why the fuck did they let Uberworld pick the song?
Freeman, this is exactly what you said before I Keep My Ideals.
Yeah, because it hasn't changed. This is the kind of band that Uberworld is. And the question is, what are we going to end up with on the coin flip for this one? Is this going to be the next, like, I Keep My Ideals? Just be the next Bleach opening, too? Like, I don't know.
So, I think... So,
yes.
I'm bringing it back again. I think part of the reason I like... Make My Story is because as a song, I can listen to Make My Story, the song, not just the intro. Whereas I Keep My Ideals, I cannot listen to that fucking song. That fucking song is so bad compared to the edit for the intro.
Yeah, I usually just listen to the intro edit. The full version is very unusual, and I'm not sure why they chose that as the song they wanted to promote above anything else, especially when they had to recut it.
I think it's amazing that they salvaged the cut out of that song.
I've said this before. For the most part, anime openings aren't picked because a band wants to do a show or the showrunner wants that band. Generally speaking, it's Sony Music, who funds half the anime in existence, decides, I want to promote this band's lead single off their next album. Use this as the anime opening. And generally speaking,
make it work.
Generally speaking, they pick a song or a band that they think fits the tone of the show. It's very rare that you find something too outlandish. Sometimes the outlandish works. I remember it was Naruto Shippuden Opening 3 was a very slow song with a very like heavy piano note to it. Anyone who's watched Naruto knows it's usually rock songs. So hearing that was unusual. But that song, which I think was Bluebird, is one of the best openings for Naruto Shippuden. So it can work. That said, I don't know what the fuck they were doing when they picked I Keep My Ideals, or what Odd Future is the real name of the song. We're just going to keep calling it I Keep My Ideals. I don't know what they were doing, and I'm really genuinely curious if they learned anything from it, because Japanese companies don't. Anyway.
Okay, I'm sorry. I didn't mean to...
Anyway, moving on. American companies actually learning something here. So I talked about this movie months ago. It's called A Silent Voice.
Yes.
This is a very serious film. It's done by one of my favorite studios, Kyoto Animation. Luigi, you're watching a show by them right now, Chunibyo. They just make great stuff.
It's fucking amazing.
I really like this movie, but this movie was very difficult to watch because it deals with a lot of very depressing subjects.
Oh, that's perfect for me. I'm gonna go watch this tonight.
Oh my god!
This is about
this the company that is this? Remember the Mother's Basement video that came out recently about that other movie? Is that the same company or no?
No, I'm not sure which one you're talking about. I don't think he did.
I'll pull it up. Keep going.
But point is, they are bringing it back to U.S. theaters. There was a very limited run when it first came out. They're bringing it back again. I'm very excited because it's screened very well. It's one of those movies you want to see once. I'll put it that way. If you haven't seen it and you can sit down for about 2.5 hours, definitely give it a shot. It was an emotional roller coaster. I love this movie.
It was called Liz and the Bluebird was his video he did on
I don't think that was Kyoto.
Kyo Annie's musical masterpiece is what he calls the video.
If it's Kyo Annie, that's them. Hold on. When was this made? This is
Wait,
brand
it is
new.
them. This was coming out. Yeah, this was just in theater.
Because it literally came out like 2 weeks ago.
Yeah, this is the movie I said I was going to surprise Val going to, and then we got busy and / it was a 2.5-hour drive for a random anime movie. But still,
Wait, what the fuck?
did you not know about this movie?
Wait a
Ghost of
minute.
Bluebird?
I asked you about this weeks ago.
Nerd, even I knew about it.
Wait
when
a
this
minute.
video came out, I was like, Friedman.
Wait, this is related to Sound Euphonium? Hold on. So,
man, live on camera,
shit.
Freeman's totally learning new
things. Tim, you are now the Weeeb King.
Oh my! No, this
because
can't
I
be
watched
right.
some other's basement
this
video.
Be a troll video.
This is totally real. What are you talking about?
Holy shit! All right, listeners, if you were in band in high school, there's an anime you need to watch. It's called Sound Euphonium. This captures the spirit of being in high school band. It was a great show and it had 2 seasons. I did not know that this movie is a spin-off about what I think is either 2 of the...
Wait, it is?
Yeah, so this is...
He didn't say that in his video, or I just forgot and I didn't know what he was talking about.
I'm reading the description, and that seems... I'm reading the user reviews who are also saying it's a side story to the Sound Euphonium series.
Okay.
My cat just sneezed on me.
Interesting, because all the characters in the main series make very minor appearances in the movie, but it's not about any of the established characters. So you can jump in without seeing the show.
Now we found another movie for you to go watch, for you.
Fuck.
Too bad it's already out of theaters.
Fuck, I have to wait for the Blu-ray.
Missed it. Whoops.
Anyway, what was I saying? Go see Kyoto Animation movies in theaters. They're all really good. Anyway, moving on. Thanksgiving was last week, and the newest addition to the Macy's Thanksgiving Parade was Super Saiyan Blue Goku.
Guess what was on camera right as me, my parents, Val, and Ed turned on the Thanksgiving Day parade about a half hour in. Oh, look, there's Goku floating along.
The best part is the narrators reading off the slide, and they forgot to put the pronunciation marks in. So they announced that it's Goku, the Super Saiyan Blue.
Dude, they also said, the one I remember was... They said, you know how it's Dragon Ball Super Broly is the name of the movie. There's a colon after Super. Well, when the guy said it, he's like, Dragon Ball Super Broly.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah, when he's like, it's Super Saiyan Goku. Super Saiyan Blue.
Super Saiyan Blue.
And I'm just laughing, and Val, Ed, and my parents are looking at me like, what is wrong with you? Why are you laughing? And I'm like, that's so not how you pronounce that word. Oh, God.
All right.
That's funny.
Moving on. Just because we talked about Broly. Very unique for Dragon Ball. So they are doing a TV special for to kind of hype up the Broly movie that's coming out.
Wait, really?
Yeah. Now Dragon Ball has done this in the past. Before one of the movies involving Future Trunks, they did the whole Future Trunks special. Same thing with the whole Goku's dad episode. They air these specials kind of in the normal broadcast time slot. The unusual thing is, this is the first time they've done one while Dragon Ball's not on air. So Dragon Ball Super ended roughly a year ago. It's not currently on air, but they're airing a 1-hour special to hype people up before the movie. So Dragon Ball's in this interesting state where they're not currently making anything, but it's still regarded as an active series. But I think is really
hold on. Are they not actively making anything, or there's nothing coming out?
So here's the thing. They're coming back for Super. Everyone fucking knows it. They're doing a terrible job of hiding it. Super is probably going to come back next year. They are basing a lot of the plot lines off the manga, and this is kind of their way of saying, oh, we're going to wait till someone else writes some cool plot lines for Dragon Ball. So while they're doing that, they're doing the movie route, because now there's interest in it, because now you can't just ignore the movies and watch Dragon Ball. If you want your Dragon Ball fix, you got to watch the movies. But it's still technically like an active series for that network, where they're like, fuck it, we'll bump whoever's off in your usual time slot because a Dragon Ball special is coming out. Double episode? Great. We'll knock 2 people off the schedule. Let's do it. So that's what they're doing. It's interesting. I'm excited. I fucking hate Broly, but I love the Dragon Ball. I love the new Dragon Ball movies. They've been very good, so I'm excited.
Look, the idea of Broly is great. He was just executed terribly.
Yeah, now that they get a chance to redo him, we'll see what happens.
I will say the movie looks sick.
Yeah, the anime.
Like, I'm not gonna pay to see it, but like I had to download and watch that movie later, which is better than. Well, no, I did the same thing for the other 2 fucking new movies, so whatever. I don't know.
All I say, the animation of the movies is always really good. I love it. I love watching these, especially because
it looks like that old style.
You also get to enjoy the what's it called? the terrible Weeeb experience in movie theaters. Everyone's screaming at the screen. That's the best way.
God, I'm not
So
going.
it sucked watching Hero Academia that, but watching Dragon Ball is great because there is no plot. It's all fights. So whenever someone goes Super Saiyan, everyone starts screaming. You don't give a shit. You know exactly what's happening on screen.
Oh, maybe that is worth. There's no like husbandos in Dragon Ball. So maybe.
So it kind of got ruined when we
it'll be safer.
When we saw the first one, was it Battle of the Gods? It got kind of ruined because the player was skipping during it. But the one scene where it didn't skip that was really good for reaction was when Vegeta screamed "My Bulma." Seeing that scene
in theaters
with the was the best. Everyone's fucking dying of laughter and screaming. It's so like usually this ruins movies, but for Dragon Ball movies, it's a lot of fun. I highly recommend it.
Fuck, maybe now I have to drag that. Val's gonna be like, this is stupid.
The one I saw with
time to get hype.
The Frieza Resurrection movie. That one, the whole theater was a lot more respectful. No one was really yelling outside of like Vegeta trash talking Goku. Everyone was dying of laughter. But for the rest of it, everyone was like very, into the movie, which was.
That movie also wasn't nearly as good.
It was okay. The first half was way better than the second.
Literally, okay, when Vegeta finally steps up to fight, lets Frieza live, and they have to time reset, and Goku just does this million miles away thing that Frieza doesn't react to. Come on, that ending was so.
Yeah, anytime you involve time travel, kind of sucks.
Anyway,
speaking of time travel, we have 5 minutes. Let's go real fast. We Never Learn, a manga series that I've been interested in reading but did not read. Anime is announced coming out in April. They announced the cast list. I didn't recognize anyone until I saw the character who I'm interested in most because she's the cutest. She is voiced by the actress who did Rico in Made in Abyss. So I'm very excited to see this.
Whoa!
Yes. Oh, sorry, you overreacted to that. Anyway,
no, Made in Abyss is a big name to drop in
this
household.
It's the voice actress. So it's weird. I've been seeing the voice actresses from Made in Abyss in a lot more places. I was watching this one edgy show that I'm going to talk about real quick, Angels of Death, where one of the characters, I couldn't put my finger on why her voice sounded so familiar, and then I realized it was Reg from Made in Abyss. And it was really weird seeing, good boy Reg becoming this like sadistic woman in another show. But that's just testament to how talented these actors are.
Yeah.
Yeah. Anyway,
I thought you were gonna say Ozen, and I was like, oh
no,
shit.
Ozen's been in a lot of stuff, but she uses a very different voice, so I never recognize her anywhere.
She does this really creepy voice too. It's fucking God.
Yeah.
Ozen's so creepy.
Still a testament to these actors and actresses' talents. Anyway, moving on. Ace of Diamonds, the currently reigning king of baseball anime, is getting continuation in 2019. I originally did not watch Ace of Diamonds because most people said it was, a lowbrow anime that was only for sports fans. Now, that said, I enjoy the fuck out of the shittiest sports anime ever, Yaomushi Pedal, the bicycle anime. So Ace of Diamonds is like next up on my list. The only thing keeping away is Ace of Diamonds is like 110 episodes between the first 2 seasons.
Oof.
And it's getting continuation. And of the people who like sports anime, they're all very excited and think this is great. So I'm probably going to give Ace of Diamonds a shot. My buddy Dave and I, we just started watching Katekyo Hitman Reborn, a show that I watched when it was coming out way back in like 2003. And that show's 200 episodes. It's going to take us roughly a year to get through Hitman, and then we're debating whether we want to do another long shot for that. We might do Ace of Diamonds, and that'll be right around the time that the continuation comes out. So we'll see what happens there. Now on to the 2 bits that are.
I was gonna say, Freeman, you can't give up on Space Kids.
No, I'm not going to. This is Ace of Diamonds is probably gonna be a show that I watch with my buddy Dave, but Space Kids is I watch on my own show, which I'm picking up again on Saturday.
I was just making sure.
Yeah, no, it is quite literally top of the list right now of things that are going to happen.
Saturday, a week from Saturday when we come home, we're gonna all watch some My Hero because Leslie made some progress, so we can finally watch the fucking Throwdown.
I panicked for a second. Like, is there a new episode out or something? I didn't know.
No. Leslie and Tyler finally watched, I think, like only 2 or 3, but still, they edged close enough that I think if we just lock it down and be like, no, you're sitting on the couch and we're all watching.
That's right. We're gonna sit there and make them
even
watch
if she stares
the Bakugo jump.
Yeah, the big ups.
And character development progresses.
Everything else is going to happen, and she's going to start crying, and we're all going to just fucking drink it in because it's such a sick show. Anyway.
Well, the trick is we have to watch early so that way she doesn't just fall asleep during it. Anyway.
Dude, we have to start at like 2 in the afternoon.
Yeah. that might already be too late. We got to start at like 8 a.m. Anyway.
Actually, she said she's off that day.
Oh, shit. All right.
So we could do the early morning Saturday meet up for the whole day.
Yeah, we'll watch during lunch.
We'll do the full day hangout thing again. Anyway.
All right, moving on. I wish Tyler was here for this announcement. Last night, Netflix announced that they have the international streaming rights to the original Neon Genesis Evangelion TV series as well as the End of Evangelion movie. Normally, I'd be super butthurt about Netflix getting stuff, but this has been the longest wait for this show to have any kind of rights holder. So back during the VHS era, it was like licensed out to like left and right. No one knew who had it. Funimation is releasing the new movies. They don't have the rights to the old stuff. long story short, you could not legally stream Evangelion anywhere. It's 2018. You could not do it anywhere because no one had the money or the means to actually go and acquire this show. And Netflix has actually gone and done it. I'm not going to criticize them for their other bullshit because I'm happy they finally took this beloved show that I have a love-it-hate-it relationship with and are now making it available. If you want to understand the classic anime or robot anime of the 90s, Evangelion is one of those shows you have to watch. You may not enjoy it, but now you don't have an excuse not to watch it. This isn't aimed at you, Tim. I don't think you're going to like it. But
yeah, I was going to say...
for anyone else who's curious about it, Evangelion will now be on Netflix. So go and enjoy it.
Why would I not like Evangelion? I'm curious.
I'm not
I've heard the name thrown around so much.
It's a little slow, and it was kind of a product of its time. I don't think really holds up right now. A lot of it has to do with understanding what the other robot anime of the time were like, and then understanding why it's different from those. So on its own, compared to nothing else, it really doesn't make much sense. You don't really get the sense of wonder and mystery compared to other super robot anime. But it's not a bad series.
I'm sure. I've heard the name for years and years.
The first time I watched it was very early in my anime career, and I didn't quite like it. And then I went back when I had watched about maybe 150 more shows, a lot of those being robot shows. So by the time I went and rewatched it, I had a better appreciation of what it was trying to do. That said, it is kind of dated at this point.
Got it.
Moving on to the weird announcement. The Sword Art Online franchise posted applications for game, anime, and spin-off novel writers. What this is telling me is that the Sword Art Online spinoff, the what was it called? Sword Art Online Alternative Gun-Gale Online.
No.
The novel sold pretty well, but the anime did insanely well. PUBG, the anime, did very well.
No way.
And because of that, they want writers outside of the series writer to kind of expand on the series while he still writes the books that he wants.
Hey, like the George R.R. thing.
It's George R.R. Martin, except if George R.R. Martin was like, I don't want to write the spinoffs, I just want to write the main series, and the studio's like, oh, come on, we'll go find someone else to write the spinoffs. George R.R. Martin's like, fuck that, I'm not writing the main series, give me literally anything else to work on. So this is the opposite scenario, where the Japanese are like, let's get other people to do the spinoffs.
He's like the kid in college who always tries to find anything on TV or YouTube or anyone to text to distract them from doing work.
Pretty much. All right, let's finish off the Weeeb shit real quick so Luigi can get out of here because he's out of time. What did we finish watching this week? Tim is happy to know that I finished watching Cells at Work. I really enjoyed the finale. I like the show. I think we should cosplay it. It'd be really fun.
That was our plan for next year.
Luigi, you'll like to hear the next one. I finished watching Wodokoi. Or Love is Hard for Otaku is its English name. I finished watching it like right after I got back from the gym today. I love the ending. I really hope there's a season 2. Tim, you were probably going to watch the show at some point because it's very wholesome. It's about actual...
Wait, really?
It's about actual real adults in the workplace who are like closet nerds, and a couple of them start dating. And it's about... It's not like drama. It's just more of like slice of life, just shit happens. They're just people. And it's wholesome, it's enjoyable, and there's some fun nerd references.
Not gonna lie, as much as Konosuba pissed me off, Dragon Maid was a great cleanse from that. So
Wodokoi is way closer to Dragon Maid than it is to Konosuba.
No, I know. That's what I'm saying.
I would never consider Konosuba wholesome.
No, it wasn't.
No, I know. I'm not saying it is. I'm saying I needed a cleanse to.
To get the stank off.
Feel better. Yeah, exactly. And fucking Dragon Maid was perfect for that, even as much as it minorly felt like Konosuba as well. But yeah, okay. We'll add it on the list. We're finishing another season of British Baking, but maybe they'll finally slow down with putting those on Netflix now. So
anyway, it's on Val's list on Google Drive, so she'll get to it. She'll see it eventually.
That list doesn't move except for 6 hours every Saturday when I'm at the fucking Magic Store.
You seem to think that 6 hours is a small amount of time in anime land, Tim.
I'm not saying it isn't, but at the same time, you every other day you're like, oh, something that's on Val's list. Well, yeah, she's never gonna touch that list if I'm here.
Ever. You're eventually gonna get there.
She might. Let's see if she maybe watched anime while I was up here, but she was supposed to be shopping for presents. So
anyway, the top half of my list of 4 shows was very good shows. Now I'm gonna talk about the shows that were absolute trash. So I finished watching Angels of Death with my buddy Dave. Angels of Death was the edgiest fucking show I've ever watched. Don't watch it. So.
And even more than Black Clover.
Black Clover's not edgy. It's just a really oddly done shonen anime.
Very loud.
It's very loud. It's not edgy in the slightest. It's very this is like Naruto with magic swords essentially, but it's not Bleach. Anyway, Angels of Death is based on an RPG Maker game that sold really well in Japan. It's available right now on Steam if you want to blow $15 on it. I don't recommend it. It starts with this
Don't make
girl
my mistake.
It's this girl being chased by a serial killer, and by the time she gets to the end of the room that they're trapped in, she's like, I want to die. And he's like, you're no fun. I only want to kill people who want to die. Let's figure out how to break out of this like parking garage-esque structure we're stuck in. So the two of them team up, and every 5 minutes she reminds him that she wants him to kill her, and he's like, no, I'm not going to kill you until you want to live. And they repeat this conversation every fucking episode because it's like a quick passing thing in the game where, but they like every episode they had to remind you like, oh yeah, she totally wants to die, and oh yeah, he totally doesn't want to kill her yet. And it was the dumbest fucking thing. Angels
Can
of
I
Death.
just say I really hope Tyler listens to this. I can just imagine Tyler laughing his ass off at how dumb this is.
I was like so angry watching. So my buddy Dave enjoyed it for the first 5 episodes, then he realized, oh no, the show's gonna end bad.
Oh, no.
And the worst part was it wasn't a 12-episode show. It had 4 additional episodes that aired after the show had come out online, just to expand it, and they didn't even do a good job at that. They expanded it, but they had to drag it slower because 4 episodes was too much.
Oh,
Angels of Death was way too edgy, and this is like the same people who think Tokyo Ghoul is actually good are gonna tell you to watch Angels of Death. Don't listen to them. Tokyo Ghoul season 1 pretty good. Rest fucking edgelords. Don't listen to them. Last one, and I've been talking about this one very briefly occasionally. I finished watching the badminton anime Hanebado. Last time we left off, I was complaining about how there's no way they can redeem the main character, and it makes you hate her in the finale. Turns out they just elected to not redeem the main character, and you still hate her even after the last episode. She didn't fucking learn anything. No one that learned anything. Nothing changed. You could have dropped the episode 4, and you'd be better off because nothing fucking happened except for well-animated badminton games. I'm so mad. Like, sports anime is set up with the perfect structure for like building up rivalries or character development, and they just didn't. They killed every rivalry and they didn't develop any character. Like Haikyuu is one of the perfect examples of why you would do a show in like a sports anime format. Hanebado sucked. It was bad. I am butthurt about this, and that's it for the Weeeb shit. Did anyone else watch anything this week?
I mean, a few episodes of Slime have come out since last time. Man, guess what happened today?
I caught up.
We finally met.
No, don't tell me. I don't want to hear about it. No, don't spoil it.
No. It's not a spoiler. Well, I guess it.
Don't spoil it.
Fine, I won't say anything.
Got him. All right.
No, okay. Well, no, you watched the other episodes, right?
Yeah, I saw the one before this week.
Okay, so that's fine. We can talk about that at least.
Warning, listeners, spoiler up to episode 8.
I mean,
7.
this is just another super. I mean, it's kind of frustrating because the character who was in this like 4-episode arc is constantly still in the intro, and I'm like, I thought you were dead.
It's fine. They're gonna change the intro after episode 12 anyway.
Are they really?
They almost always do.
What came out today? 9?
Yeah, so you have 3 more episodes for the opening swaps.
That explains why half of the intro is dedicated to characters who just got met this week.
Yep, that's...
Yep.
Yeah, spoiler, Friedman.
Cool, we meet
the characters who are literally in half of the intro. There's one girl for half the intro, and this horned group of people for half the intro, and it only just now met them.
You spoiled it. Look what
That's
you did.
fine. If you look at the grand scheme of the show in terms of like... Or not even the show, the manga... this whole cast is introduced very early on in the series lifespan. So
yeah, but we're on episode 9. And you're saying
I understand that.
Change.
Here's the thing: the show, and this is all animes, man, is advertisements for the source material. So they put them front and center because they are very important for the rest of the series.
I get that, but it's just weird. Fuck it.
It's so important. It's such a good show.
How anime is. Anyway,
it's pretty. Oh, Luigi, did you watch Overlord at all yet?
No, I did not. I've been I caught up with Bloomin' to You. Rascal Does Not Dream of Bunny Senpai.
How is
Bloomin' to You watch that fucking show?
I get it's a very wholesome lesbian show, but still, it's like that technical sexual assault. I do not like that.
It's Japan. You gotta get used to it.
I know, but it's fuck. I tried watching Sword Art Online. I was told it's much better than the rest of the series. And
wait, but have you watched the rest of the series then?
Yeah, I watched all of Sword Art Online. It's
okay, and you started Alicization?
Yes.
What do you think?
The intro was great until they got to Kirito, and then it stopped being great.
No. You just need to get a little bit further, and then it gets good again.
Oh, really? That 20-minute like, oh, I have to explain how the universe works. I'm like, what? You're just some high school kid. You're gonna explain metaphysics? Is this
Not
is this
anymore.
how
Not
it's
anymore.
going?
Is not. They're like in their 20s now.
Oh, okay. It just makes it so much. Like, did you know about our souls? It's like, oh,
Okay, yeah, that part was a little
this.
bullshit. All right, so you saw the first episode, which was the double episode, right?
Yeah, and it was
Okay,
it was nice, and then it turned to ass, and then it turned to really boring ass.
Just you got to go one more episode deeper.
It's so hard.
On 3-episode rule. The 3-episode rule.
Well, no, the first episode was a double. It doesn't count. That's one episode.
So fucking gross.
Yeah, I know.
You just need to give the second episode a chance.
And Gabriel Dropout.
Oh, you're watching Gabriel Dropout?
4 episodes so far. It's
amazing. So now you understand who Satania and the anime memes waifu is.
I understand the memes.
Okay, if we're gonna pick up one show next, should it be Wotaki, Dreaming of Bunny Girl? Sorry. Should it be that Bunny Girl Senpai or Goblin Slayer? Because those are the
number
ones.
One, Goblin Slayer.
You guys,
I love it. It's amazing. It's the best show.
Yeah, you just have to get past the first episode. It's rough. Here's the thing: you're going to watch Rascal Does Not Dream of Bunny Girl Senpai. I don't know if I'd have you start it right now because episode 9 comes out tomorrow. It's only going to be 12 episodes, so you still have to wait 3 weeks for the conclusion.
Yeah.
If you think you can knock out another show, because Goblin Slayer is also only going to be 12, and that's episode 8 just came out. Wodakoi is only 11 episodes. That one's done. So honestly, if you guys are going to binge it, do Wodakoi and then watch Rascal.
Yeah,
when
by the end of this weekend, the time we hit this weekend, we're gonna have finished watching British Baking, and okay, so Wodakoi.
All right. Well, let me post. It's on Amazon Video, which I'm assuming you guys have.
Yeah, Val has it. That's how we watch Made in Abyss.
If you search "Love is Hard for Otaku."
Okay. Well, no, I was just trying to pronounce it. Okay, so you're saying watch that.
Yeah.
And then Goblin Slayer, and then okay.
I missed all of that.
That's fine. We're just talking about the same 3 shows.
I'll just watch the whole video when it's on YouTube.
Yeah, just do the whole podcast. Okay, so we're gonna end here because Luigi's gonna have to go. Luigi, before you leave, do you want to talk about your upcoming week? I guess anything interesting that happened since the last time you were up.
It's a boring week.
That sounds exciting.
I'm gonna watch anime and do work. Starbucks came out of surgery this morning. He got his growth removed.
We didn't even know Starbucks was in surgery.
Well, he's in surgery. He was. It was fine. It was a very short surgery. They just had this gross thing, and then they chopped it off.
That's good.
Yeah, now he's a cute puppy again.
Who you can get mad at all the time.
Exactly. Fuck that dog. Number 2, cats just knocked
just
over
like Leslie
all
with
the
Faye.
water. They knocked over the water. They stepped in the water, freaked out. They jumped on me. I freaked out. I ripped out my headphones, and that's why I missed that entire conversation.
Sounds like an actual hilarious video to watch. Freeman, anything interesting coming up?
I'm trying to think.
We didn't really do past weeks, but it doesn't matter.
No one gives a shit. I played Pokemon and
we
kind of
went over it.
The holidays happened.
I'll talk about it during my upcoming week, I guess.
I wrapped up a bunch of shows, as I said. I don't know if I'm going to pick up anything more beyond Space Beans right now. I might try and watch How Not to Summon a Demon Lord from last season, just because I know it was ecchi trash.
That is still
I gotta watch that.
That's still on my Crunchyroll queue, but we've never watched it.
Do you like boobs, big and small?
Luigi,
I might, but I'm also watching it with Val.
Luigi, I'm fairly sure I sent you a video completely out of context, making fun of the fact that the elf girl with the massive boobs is 15 years old, but she's an elf, so it's 150 years, so it's a-okay for anime fans to be okay with this.
Oh, great.
Wait!
Thank you, anime fans.
What about Skullface Bookseller? Because that was what Mother's Basement's video was 3 days.
So I might give it a shot. I have this golden rule where I only watch one. So animes that are 10 minutes long are usually not the best anime ever. So I have a golden rule where I only watch one at a time. I'm about to finish watching one called Takunomi, which I don't know it's about these 4 women who make cocktails, and it's just like it's an infotainment show. I have 3 episodes left of that, and I'm probably going to pick up.
Like a cocktail?
No, it's different, but it's the same premise.
Watch it.
When I'm done with that, I'm probably going to pick up the Skeleton Bookseller dude as my 10-minute anime to watch.
I mean, his whole video was about how people should be making memes out of screenshots of the show, so... I'm sure you'll love it, Freeman.
It's probably good. I don't hold Mother's Basement's opinion in the highest regard because a lot of times he's wrong about a lot of things and he's unwilling to move on them.
Like Corbin.
Yeah, but generally he's usually a good indicator of shows that you should watch. Usually
you recommended Overlord, so 10 out of 10 right there.
There you go. But yeah, that's
hey,
all
he
my
also loves
list.
Konosuba, which I don't get. So hey,
Konosuba's a great show. I recently started rewatching because I'm showing my buddy.
Look, just because I'm gonna watch all of Konosuba doesn't mean I like.
And
I'm
reliving the wonder of watching Megami do all her bullshit for the first time.
Oh man, we didn't even talk about the cool D&D shit you guys are doing.
I went back in time because I was looking for. It was when I was looking through Val's conversation because I was trying to remember what shows I recommended her at the beginning. And I remember Konosuba coming up, and I was trying to look to see if I brought it up to you at the time. And I went further back, and I found the first time you were watching with Val, and you're like, "I'm getting big Megamine vibes from your D&D character. By the way, you're not allowed to just keep blowing up a castle." And my response to you was, "That's what you think." And the conversation ended there.
Well, I don't know. Maybe when you guys level up a little more, but there's not really any castles.
Oh, if there's an enemy fortress, I'm going to just attempt some nonsense to stay in character. We'll see.
But also, none of them in this world are going to be just impervious. You also don't fall over. Although you did it in this last session.
I'm trying to make it happen. We'll stay as close to the character as we can without ruining the campaign.
Speaking of which, neither of you picked... No. Luigi picked.
Oh,
you still haven't picked
I had questions.
either.
I was going to wait to just ask you after the podcast.
Okay, we'll do that after. That's fine, because you and the girls are the only ones. Tyler and Luigi both picked their power, which is actually hilarious that you both picked powers that I did not. I legitimately thought I had actually written ones that were more OP than the two that both of you picked.
Oh, it's 100%. Well, I thought it was a no-brainer, the one I picked.
Listeners are so confused. They have no idea what you're talking about.
So I'm gonna.
You could say mine. I'll mine.
No. I was gonna just explain the mechanics. So we're running our D&D game, and we're doing. I think we talked about this at least once on the podcast. We're doing Fable 2 that I'm running right now, where I'm running them through my customized version of Fable 2, and because I don't feel like coming up with 25 legendary weapons and backstories and all this other bullshit, I had the idea to steal from some other video games that like to talk about how you carry a weapon with you the whole time. I gave these guys weapons from basically their teacher, Teresa, if you've ever played a Fable game. She gave them all unassuming weapons or items. Freeman has a staff, Luigi has goggles, Val has a shield, Tyler has a mace, and Leslie has a flute. What I revealed to them on Sunday is that these weapons have their own level ups that they are going to get at different points from characters leveling up. I actually gave them a level up at the same time because they found out that the power exists and yada, yada, yada. It's not going to happen every time. But what I did is every level, instead of just raising the stats in a boring way, I gave them 3 choices on special upgrades their weapon can gain. And anytime they level up, next level, there are going to be 5 choices because there are going to be the 2 old ones, 2 new ones of a slightly higher power level, and whichever one they pick now is going to have another version of it that keeps the old abilities and also a new, more powerful related ability. It's a lot of work, but it's really cool.
Such work.
So, it's funny, though, that you picked so easily because Leslie is struggling with literally all of her choices, and so is Val. They are both actually not able to decide between any of them. Tyler convinced Leslie that one of them is shitty because it's not directly combat related, but I think it's actually the most thematically appropriate one.
I mean, none of mine are really combat related, but
they could get there.
They could, but I see it as the one I chose, which I really would like to say it.
Go ahead.
Okay,
yeah.
So my
goggles. If you guys want to, you can.
If I touch my goggle to any book, it will save that entire book, and I can read it as I choose. But I can only hold up to 5 books at a time. And I'm playing.
You need to get a better Kindle, dude.
It's because my character is literally he's an engineer. She's an engineer. And she just needs to fucking read up on all the things. And actually, I'm thinking already that I am interested in 2 books from that Elvish bookstore. I'm like, I'm totally just fuck paying them. I'm just gonna take that information. It's
now we never established what it looks like when you do that or how instantaneous it is.
Oh boy.
Which it probably would be, but like one thing that I've considered already, because I've already been thinking about how I can level up these abilities, because originally it wasn't going to be a level up. It was just going to be you guys get 3 abilities per level and you just pick one and then the other ones are gone. I wanted to make it more work for myself. But as an example, Luigi, I don't know if it would be next level. I don't know if it would be tied to other abilities, but as an example of how that ability could level up in the future, potentially, if you get the upgraded version of that ability, what if you can save 8 books and the goggles translate the books?
Oh.
Because currently that's not an ability. Currently they will save in their language. But that's the kind of leveling up and more advanced versions I'm going to be designing for all of the abilities. Once you've all picked them, and obviously it's way a while until you get another level in your weapon anyway.
I'm going to have so many audible credits. You have no idea.
But you don't even know what your other 2 new abilities
No,
might
you went the
be.
hard route of including upgrades in the concept for all these. Like, if it was me and I would have done the lazy route, is I give you 3 abilities, you pick one, and then on your next level, give you 2 new ones to pick from in addition to the 2 old ones, and then just every level up, add 2 new ones to the potential pool, and forget the whole upgrade concept.
I'm really trying to push myself to make up for the fact that there's not really going to be... You guys will probably run into a few legendary weapons, but I don't want to make it too... Like, because Leslie's thing is a flute, which is cool, but it'd still be nice to have something more interesting than just a composite longbow.
Yeah.
I think the augmentation system is still in the universe, but you guys haven't...
Discovered it.
That's its own weird... Yeah, you guys haven't had a real interaction with it yet, but it is in there. But I'd like to have 1 or 2 more interesting things. But you guys... The idea behind this, for those of you at home, was these guys I wanted to have a legendary item that is... If you saw it in a museum in 200 years, you would go, that is that is Luigi's goggles. Or that's Friedman's fucking staff. Yeah. Friedman, do you want to talk about what your choices are? Oh no, you wanted clarification.
No, you'll give me clarification live on the air here. So the 3 abilities Tim gave me, one was called Space, which gave me the opportunity to push everyone less than 10 feet from me back to 10 feet away from me. So as
I also really, really pushed I'm gonna try to never name these things more than 1 or 2 words. I'm trying to pull a magic card thing here.
Okay.
Where there's never that many words for the names of these abilities.
The second one was, what do you call it? Flare.
Flare.
I can roll a charisma check to blind everything looking at me. All these kind of flavorfully fit in with the fact that I'm a sorcerer who sucks at close range, and the second someone tries to fight me close range, I'm done for. The last one, Charge, this is the one I need clarification on, because there was a slight wording that made me think it was way more powerful than it actually is. It was once per day, store a copy of level 1 or 0 spell that I know in my staff. This doesn't count for my spells per day. You may choose to cast it along with any other successfully cast spell. The way that sentence is worded, it made it sound like I cast that copy anytime I successfully cast a spell.
Sorry, only
once.
time.
I figured that made way more sense. I'm like, no, this sounds super busted.
My apologies. I was
like, hell yeah, I'm going to store Magic Missile and just cast it every time I use Prestidigitation.
Oh god, no. It was I was literally doing these at work and typing them out on my phone as I designed them and tweaked them. And so I was also trying to not just stare at my phone for 20 minutes typing these all out to each of you. That's why they came out staggered over the course of the day. So, yeah, that was definitely not intentional that it's that broken.
Yeah, no. So
It's still good. It's still really good.
So, listeners,
but it's not busted.
So, Tim, I was also holding off to pick my traits because when you had first asked us for what special item we were using, you also asked for suggestions of what you wanted it to do. And my suggestion for you was have my staff function essentially as a ranged weapon. And because I've been holding off on going down the crossbow route with my character because I was hoping that was going to happen, now that I see that's not, I may need to invest some traits in crossbows because fighting in melee with the staff.
I mean, having weapons is sure, but I mean, who knows what other levels?
I know. See, that's the problem. I don't know how much I want to give myself in the hopes that it's going to get better.
These are truly designed to be level 1 abilities.
Understandable.
I tried to keep in mind power level. I tried to keep in mind future upgrades. I'm also trying to keep in mind leaving myself design space for other levels.
Design space, short card names. Okay there, Mara. Let's see how this next set works out.
Oh my god. Whatever.
All right. This has been a long podcast. We should probably wrap it up.
Yeah. I was just gonna. Oh yeah. You guys both did your weeks. I guess I'll do my weeks real quick, or my week real quick. Really nothing special. I found out next week is probably one more overtime week for the year, so that's good. Other than a fucked up session of Deus Ex Mankind Divided that failed yesterday, I'm still almost done with that game. I'm hoping to get one more session done this week or this weekend, and just finish it. Like, I've only released up to episode 6, but I'm already on like 24 done, and I'm hoping to finish it. That game's still not amazing. It's okay, but man, is Human Revolution still better. Outside of a few minor improvements. I haven't played Yakuza in weeks. I actually just uploaded the last 3 episodes I had pre-recorded, so I need to sit down and really blow through that. Once I finish Deus Ex, I'm probably going to just make myself finish Yakuza 0. Still love the game, but honestly, I don't love Mankind Divided enough to kind of sit on it, so I kind of just want to blow through it and be done with it. Like, get it done and uninstall it and
just
get it out of my face.
Just rush and then never have to think about it ever again.
Pretty much. So probably tomorrow or Thursday, I'm gonna try to get a session in, since we're not doing D&D this week because Tyler's gonna be gone.
No D&D sadness.
Sucks.
Oh yeah, Leslie was texting me today like, why can't we play D&D? I said, well, fucking Tyler. I don't know what I'm recording next. I've been playing Rage for fun because Tyler convinced me that no one would want to watch that game, and yeah, he's not wrong. It's not perfect, but it's not amazing. Maybe I'll try to do a fun LP. I was tempted to buy Shadow of the Tomb Raider and Darksiders 2 during the autumn sale, but Darksiders 2 wasn't on sale, and Shadow of the Tomb Raider, I don't know, I probably won't play it yet, but I'll probably wait for winter sale to buy something new, and I probably have enough videos until then, because Deus Ex is going to take a while to upload, and Yakuza 0 still has a decent amount of game in it, so... Other than that, yeah, we're watching Slime and British Baking, and we're going to probably start one of these other shows.
Hell yeah.
In the near future. Got some extremely blingy magic cards in the mail that I did tell Val about, Freeman, so I can tell you about them, but I would rather just wait to show you them in person, because it's not exactly what you think.
All right, I'm dying to see what you got then.
Anything else? I mean, my parents and Ed were here for Thanksgiving. That was fucking amazing. They had a blast. It was a lot of fun. Oh, yeah, we actually didn't talk about how we decided that you guys are coming out here for convention next year.
We did not.
We need to finalize this plan and figure out who's in.
Yeah, we're gonna do a hotel. Well, it's probably just the two of you.
That's sad. We still need to bring up so they don't feel left out. We need to let them refuse on their terms.
We'll do it when we're home.
All right.
We'll do it when we're home. But yeah, Luigi and Freeman are probably going to come out here. We might even do a cosplay as Cells at Work because it's nice and simple. But yeah, there's an anime convention apparently an hour away. Like I said, my new friend Jess introduced me to. It's at a water park, so you can go do water park stuff and go to an anime convention right next door. So
That's
we're gonna try to get them out here for that.
Wet weebs.
I know. Oh my god. But yeah, we're gonna try to do the 4 of us there next year. Trying to think if there's anything else interesting. Next week we'll hopefully have a podcast. We'll have to double check. I don't remember when Tyler gets back, but I think he should be back by Sunday.
Yeah, he'll be back for next week's podcast.
D&D. Yeah, he should be back. Hopefully nothing else will happen, because the week after that, Val and I are going to be home, and there won't be a podcast that week for sure. And then we'll only have one more week in between that and Christmas and New Year's, and those are probably both days we won't do the podcast. So, yeah, there might only be 1 or 2 more TNT podcasts for 2018.
No.
But we're going to call it here.
Right.
We're going to talk about D&D more off camera, and maybe me and Freeman will play Overwatch for a little. I don't know.
Maybe.
Because Luigi's got to go raid.
Yeah.
But thank you all so much for listening. This has been, thankfully, successfully completed episode 60 of the TNT podcast.
Right, 60.
If we get 2 more episodes this year, we'll have exactly 1 year worth of weeks, even though we'll have been going for over a year and a half.
Oh my god.
We've kind of fallen off this year. But thank you all so much for listening. Until next time, my name is Timpedia.
I'm Friedman.
Luigi.
And we will catch you guys next week. Thanks for listening.
See you guys.